3 Lightbringers were swallowed by Renault's evil magic. Now they awaken, lost and confused, in a realm of darkness.
Oh my god. I tried to inhale while I laugh and it hurts.
It's D&D time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to Worlds Apart. We're back here with the Dark World party, and we are gonna tell an epic story while playing some Dungeons and Dragons. Let's get right into it. So previously on Worlds Apart, Krauna, Tico, and Aceranon were all found in an unfamiliar land with a smoky black sky and a blood-red sun, much like Seattle, Washington. And as you were fading in and out of consciousness, you were captured at the top of a volcanic peak by a group of hobgoblins, but they themselves were attacked and you were recaptured by the forces of a Cambion called Rylock. And when next you awoke, you were imprisoned in the depths of a dungeon. You were searching for a way to get out of this dungeon, escape from your prison cell, when you met a woman named Magpie, a light-fingered thief who helped you to escape with her set of lockpicking tools. And you learned from her that you were imprisoned in a labor camp called Blood Rock Delve, a place where prisoners were forced to mine a mineral called sanguinite. And you were able to escape with Magpie, recover your things, and get out of the dungeon. And while you were escaping, you saw the magical power of sanguinite firsthand when Rylock, who you discovered to be an emissary of the nearby city, displayed the strength of an armored automaton he called a monolith. You managed to escape the dungeon and emerged into the prison yard, where you saw an open sky, you saw the smoke and the red sun, and found nearby a lot of prisoners, manacles around their hands, shackles on their ankles, being either carted off into the depths of the earth, down into the mines, or being ushered back into their cells. Magpie turns to you. She turns specifically to Aceranon, and she says to you, okay, so we made it out of the dungeon, but we're still stuck in here. The only way out is through the main gate, and she gestures to the south end of the yard. And the only way to raise it is with a key that the warden herself possesses. So, what's the plan?
Well, clearly we need to get the keys from the warden.
Easier said than done. We can get it. And she looks over towards the east end of the camp, towards the tallest part of it. There's this elevated 3-story structure. She points a finger over there. I mean, yeah, we could go over there. Tons of guards, everything like that. If you think we can do it.
Well, unless someone thinks that we could just bust through the gate.
It's too bad we don't have the 2 members of our party that can, fly, since this is kind of an open air arrangement. But
people who can fly?
Yeah, so to speak.
So they have
They have a little help, but
Items
wings.
that imagine
It's
things.
magic. You know, magic.
That's
Ask
incredible.
Tico.
They've
He
got.
knows all about it.
I won't ask. Clearly, you have your own secrets.
Can we not just like climb up and just sort of scurry over? Or
Climb over the walls. You could give it a try. I mean, you'd be visible. They'd shoot you down.
oh,
You know what? I'm
Not
all for beating up
necessarily.
the warden. I got my cello back, and Crowna, bangs sudden death against the ground. Kind of throws up sparks. She's like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go." Is everyone sort of in favor of beating up Valorous?
Can I? Well, I guess I don't really need a perception check. I just want to see who the prisoners are. Like, what do they look like?
Absolutely. So you're in a little corner of the workyard right now. There are tons of little tunnels, maybe 10 feet wide, that descend steadily into the earth, into the stone of the mountaintop that you're on, just winding straight down. And the prisoners that are being ushered in there look mostly to be, I mean, they're all humanoid. Most of them are humans. You can see a couple of folks that look like dwarves, elves, tieflings, the standard sort of mix-up of fantasy races that you would expect to see.
Okay. And they all look kind of.
They all look downtrodden. Yeah, they all look like they've been here. I don't know, longer than you have. That's for sure.
I mean, we could start a riot.
Would that get the warden out here, do you think?
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
been in a
that-
few jails.
I mean, yeah, they'd get her out of her tower, perhaps, and we wouldn't have to, go up a couple
Find
of
our way
flights.
through, yeah.
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 And there's so much chaos, I mean, not that I've done this before specifically, but I've seen a few good prison riots.
Okay, how do we start a prison riot, Tico?
You
Care
just
to
kinda,
enlighten us?
you kind of go up and just sort of shove someone, and then
Yeah,
And
be our guest.
I was thinking maybe you, because you,
Oh, because I punch people for a
yeah,
living.
because you're really
You
really
have
good
a
at being
face that people
strong.
would want to punch.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing anyone said about me in a
That's
while.
very sad.
How about the both of us? You can lend me your expertise
In punching?
in starting a riot, Tico.
I've never,
there.
I've never started one before. I just kind of.
Well, these two ding-dongs are fighting. I'm gonna walk over to the nearest half-orc and start talking to them.
Okay. So the nearest half-orc is shackled to a wall. There are these 2-foot-long chains connected to each of their ankles. And so they have a kind of a limited range of motion. So you move out of the little alcove that you're in and kind of head along the wall of the workyard. And remind me, did you change out of your prison clothes? Are you back into your usual garb?
We did, right?
Yeah, we
'Cause
did.
We just
Yeah.
started stripping in front of the truck.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I've got my big cloak,
Okay.
so
Mhm.
just wearing that, I
Can I do
guess.
something after Sarah?
Yeah, I'm gonna resolve this scene before we
Yeah.
keep going. I'm assuming that Crown and Tico are hashing out the details of how to make this riot happen.
Yeah.
So you walk up to this half orc, and he's this big guy. He looks very strong but underfed, and he is currently. He has this big old pickaxe, and he is hammering away at this boulder that's been put in front of him, nearly as big as he is, and he's just hacking away at these rocks. He doesn't even notice you until you get right up next to him.
Oh, greetings, brother.
Mm.
I have a proposition for you.
Who are you?
I am a fellow prisoner, but I'm trying to make it,
You don't look like a prisoner to me.
Yes, well, I'm in the middle of an escape, and I would like your help with that.
Make a persuasion check.
Alright. Oh, God, I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Okay.
I get the feeling this guy will be helpful. That's a little better. 14?
14. He nods. You're planning an escape. You know, I don't recognize you. I've never seen you before.
I I was in the deepest part of the mountain with Magpie. I don't know if you know her.
His brow raises, and then his eyes narrow again when you say Magpie's name. Really?
Well, yes, we were only there for a few hours. We're new. But I do not want to be in prison. So
No, I don't think any of us do.
here's my proposition.
Hide! Get down behind the rock.
Okay.
And do you just like hit the deck? Do you try and keep an eye out for what's happening? What are you gonna try and do?
I'm gonna kind of squat and sidle around.
Okay.
So I can, like, I don't know, I want my back to the wall so I
You're
can
gonna
see
try and
them.
peek out. Okay. So
Squatting behind a rock.
he remains standing. So make a stealth check for me.
Oh god, okay. That's not me.
Got another die over there?
No. Oh, don't get it. Just roll another one. Get it later.
No, this is my good one. Oh, maybe not. 9?
So you hit the ground and your cloak billows up behind you. This little dust cloud emerges.
Yep.
And you hear a stern voice of a what sounds to you like a human woman. And you actually, before that, you hear the clinking of chainmail and heavy armored boots as this person approaches. And she says, "Prisoner, who are you talking to?" And the half-orc looks up at her for a moment.
No.
And says, "No one, talking to myself." And she looks at him for a moment, glances down at the big old cloak on the ground. And, what's this? And he looks at her for a moment. 5 seconds pass. 10 seconds pass. He licks his lips. "I found it.
You better unclasp that real quick.
It's my cloak. I dropped it on the ground."
Are we just not even paying attention?
Can't lie.
Make a perception check, both of you.
Ooh, I got 17.
Okay. That's a 19.
Okay, so this, we're gonna do a little scene transition here. This prisoner is looking the prison guard
So
dead in the eye,
Take his underwear, and put it on a.
and then Crouna hears the guard come over.
Okay. You know what? Never mind.
Wait, what do I do with the underwear?
Just give me a sec. I dip my finger into the yellow pot of marvelous paints, and I start drawing on my palm, and I draw a little pile of gold coins.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk over to the nearest prisoner that isn't shackled to the ground,
Okay.
and I say to them, "I will give you this money if you start a fight in this courtyard right now."
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
How are they gonna give me money?
Buy cigarettes.
Okay. Underwear is more important than cigarettes in this economy.
Whoa.
Plus my persuasion. Oh, it's only 7 now. 20?
Oh, darn.
A mere 7.
I think that's what I got on my hiding roll. So.
This prisoner that you have walked up to, you're skirting the edges of the wall as well, and she is the and she is this dwarf, very very stocky, maybe only about 3 feet tall, and you know lean down and show this gold, and she looks at it, and she looks at you and says, "You're pretty colorful."
Oh, thank you. I try.
What the hell are you doing here?
Do you want the gold or?
Yeah, I don't look a gift horse in the mouth, I guess. And she shoves it into her palm and says, "Oh, I don't have pockets."
It's fine. Use your other hand to
Use
punch.
your prison pocket. Wink.
You're on the ground.
Nobody can hear you.
This is
You're
a
hiding.
disembodied voice.
You're literally grounded.
Do you want
my
me to
real
hold on
dad.
to it while you punch someone's lights out?
She says, you know what? Fine. Drops it in.
Oh, where'd it go?
There's an extra dimensional pocket in there, yeah.
All right.
And she says, okay, who am I punching?
That guard by the rock over there.
She cracks her knuckles and says, you're getting me out of here when this is over, right? You
Yeah.
weird little guardian angel, whoever the hell you are.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Rock over there. There's a half-orc and a guard. Just grab her, just...
And she begins to sidle over. You look out over the prison yard. There's about 5 or 6 guards meandering around here. 2 of them have kind of a chain gang of folks that are being led down into the mines. And for the other 4, 2 of them are at the far end, standing by a staircase that goes towards the warden's building. One is over by a Saranon, and the other is guarding the doorway to a watchtower in the far north of the yard.
Can I, real quick, Tika's gonna go to one of the chain gangs.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And just sort of whisper to all of them as he runs by.
Make a stealth check. With disadvantage, because you're running out in the middle of a yard.
Whatever.
You still have the cloak of Elven.
That's
thing.
true, I do, but I
You
didn't
can-
put the hood up.
Yeah, I mean, you can use your action to put the hood up. That's
Okay.
fine.
I'm gonna just... now I've got a hood on.
Cool. So you no
I
longer
just
have
now
disadvantage. You have a straight roll.
13 plus...
Plus a bunch. 0.
Plus a bunch. Plus 6. 19.
All right. These freaking rogues.
I'm gonna whisper to all of them as I go.
Uh-huh.
Riot in 10 seconds. Riot in 10 seconds.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage. They have no reason to trust you, you very fast and stealthy boy. You voice upon the wind.
You're like Naruto running past this.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's how you're stealth. You gotta
Yeah.
know to run.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, the disadvantage didn't do much because they're both bad.
Well,
So that's a
what was
9.
your roll? That was a 9. And acknowledged. One of the prisoners like looks back, like what the hell, and another one is like, who?
Was that Naruto?
Was that God? Because I didn't see anybody.
Godruto?
Is God telling us to riot?
At least I planted the seed, you know.
Mm-hmm, you primed them.
They'll know what's going on when it happens.
They're like, oh, that is a riot, huh?
Okay, so we've got 2 scenes converging. This dwarf lady is trudging over towards the half-orc and the rock, and the guard stands up straight, and she looks the half-orc dead in the eye, and she says, "Pick it up." And he looks at her, and he looks beyond her at the dwarf power walking right towards her, and he says, "All right, 1 minute." And he takes his pickaxe and he sets it very slowly on the ground, and he stands back up and he looks at her again and says, "All right, I'm going to pick up the cloak now." The guard is just standing there.
I love prison.
Like, yeah, no, just kidding. Let's stay.
And he goes to the other side with one arm, and as he grabs the cloak right in the small of your back, Saranon, there is a crack. And Crouna, you see this dwarf slam her fist right into the back of the guard's knee, and her leg just buckles, and she falls right down on the ground. Ah, what the hell?
I've
And
been like watching this dwarf lady and like pantomiming her the whole time. So as she like draws back her fist, it's like,
Saranon, you hear the guard hit the deck. What do you do?
I'm gonna get up, and I have my warhammer out. And
All right.
as this guard is on the ground, I'm just gonna.
All right. You stand. The cloak billows up behind you. As you do so, you raise your warhammer high up into the air.
And as it's up, like right before, I look around the yard and I yell, Fight!
Make an attack roll with advantage.
Nice. Oh god, what is my tackle? Okay. 14. I rolled real bad.
Unfortunate.
That's, yeah, because especially since you told everyone to look at you before you did it.
I'm a holy woman, you know?
You fight and then you just miss.
So the guard spins around. She was on her front, and she manages to roll up and raise her shield, giving her the extra 2 points of armor class needed to block that blow. And your warhammer leaves this vicious dent right where her head was gonna be, but she raises her shield and goes. Grrr!
Can it make like a big old ding, like the start of a fucking wrestling match?
Yes!
Ding ding. Yeah, I love that.
Also, I'm gonna jump up at this moment from where I was hiding and yell, "Fight!" Also, because I heard the fight.
Yeah. You leap up, you roar that, and everyone turns about. All 6 guards, all the prisoners. So Aceranon shouts, "Fight!" Tico leaps up and does the same.
Crowda just yells.
Ah!
Woohoo! It's more of a
Leedle.
yeehaw, as it were.
All 3 of you make persuasion checks. I want you to get a combined result of 30.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Ooh.
18 plus 119.
Well, I got a 26.
Thank god, okay, I got an 8.
So the ding happens. Aceranon's like, "Fight! Fight!" And then Tico leaps up. What was your roll?
19.
19, 27 after that, and you shall fight. And there's a roar from the people you just ran by.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "Hey, that disembodied voice was right." And then everyone else in the yard is suddenly drawn to the action when Crowna just lets out a roar.
She like bangs sudden death against the ground again. Sparks fly up.
Yeah, like what color are these sparks? Like what's going on?
Golden. They're gold sparks. Gold,
Yeah.
white gold sparks.
So these little like mini firework goes off, and this yell goes out, and the entire yard then bursts into chaos. People are not necessarily fighting the guards. There's a lot of prisoners just
just
punching
getting to the
other
spirit of
prisoners
it. Yeah.
going on.
For you.
And the 6 guards all look up. The one on the ground is trying to shuffle away from Aceranon. I want... Let's see. I'm trying to figure out the positioning of all of you. Sarah, make a perception check for me, please.
Okay. 11.
Okay.
Bad rolls today.
Yeah, you're not off to a hot start. It'll turn around by the end of this game. Like, by the time the boss fight rolls around, that's when... It's the Zephyr syndrome. Yeah.
I'm sure they're very proud to be.
To have this
Named
curse
Sacred
named
Cat
after
curse,
them,
yeah.
yeah.
Use my ring. It's rolling better.
Okay. How about Tico makes a perception check for me?
Okay. That is 19.
Okay. Tico, you see this. There are, as you know, there are 6 guards in here. 5 of them have rushed into the main yard. One of them, who is guarding the main tower, has turned about and has entered the tower itself. Not the watchtower, but the
warden's tower?
the warden's keep.
Okay.
So that guard has run away from the melee and is going that way. Let's roll initiative, shall we?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, how about Crowna?
19.
Hey, that's pretty good. How about Tico?
8.
Hey, that's not so great. How about Aceranon?
13. Very
Okay.
average.
Right in the middle.
Need to cough again. Okay.
And the prisoners got a 1.
Oh no.
Well, they are in chains.
Yeah. Crowna, you've won initiative.
Okay, where's the nearest guard?
So the nearest guard is the one by Aceranon. Basically, there are 4 of them within 30 feet of you. One of them is still kind of running from the eastern side of the yard, and the other one has has dipped, basically.
Okay. I'll go grab the one that is. Well, not grab them. I'm gonna go to the one that's coming in from the east.
Cool.
And I'm gonna whack at him with sudden death.
Cool.
Oh, this isn't the good die. That's fine.
Sudden death is like a two-handed weapon, right?
It's like
You take the neck of the thing and...
I can use it with one hand. I don't know. It's like if you've seen electric cellos, they're like really thin, right? Like a real ass rapier would be heavier than this thing.
Oh, huh.
To be honest.
Got it.
Hey, okay, so that's plus. I can't remember if I. Okay, no, that's plus 6. Oh, that's a 23.
Hey, 23 hits, that's for sure. These guards are pretty simple looking. They have they're all normal-ass human beings. They're wearing chainmail armor. They have a tabard over their chest that bears an icon you're unfamiliar with. They have a helmet that covers most of their face, and they have a spear and a shield.
I want to nab him right in his helmet so it, vibrates cartoonishly. That's 9 damage.
I'm pulling a Hunchback of Notre Dame move here. So you slam this guy right in the helmet, and he staggers backwards, ringing, like a little bell. This guy is bloodied.
Yeah.
Yeah, he staggers backwards. That brings us to Tico, or
No.
to Saranon.
The half-orc I was talking to, I want to break his chains so he can join the fight.
All right.
So do I just, hit the chains?
Yeah, make an attack roll against the chains.
Okay, cool.
Should be pretty simple.
I've been rolling real bad. Don't jinx me. Okay, that's good. 21 to hit?
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's 1d8 plus 2.
So these chains, as an object, have a damage threshold of 3.
Oh, good. Good. That's what I rolled.
Okay, you deal 3 damage, and you hear a crack. When I say damage threshold, I mean damage that is under that doesn't even hurt it.
Okay, good.
So it has 5 hit points total.
Oh.
So you go, and it breaks a little bit, and the half-orc that you were trying to free looks up at you and says, "Great! Ugh.
I'm sorry, I'm
You didn't break it."
much weaker than I usually am.
Oh, aren't we all?
Prison does that to you, am I right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that brings us to Tico.
I mean, I guess I'm gonna follow that guard.
Oh, you're gonna try and sneak through the whole fight and follow the guard up into the tower?
That sounds like something Tico would do.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Make a stealth check for me.
Okay. Well,
Ooh.
that's not great.
It's kind of cocked.
No.
Yeah, that's a 9.
9. Yeah, perception of 10 will beat that. So you are running. You're running eastward, and as you do so, a guard that you hadn't noticed steps out from the melee and says, "Hey, where do you think you're going?"
Stab him.
What? You can't
A little voice
Stab
in your head.
him!
He is this big, imposing, 6'1" guy, wide chest. He's got this big mustache that's just bursting like a broom brush out of his helmet.
Very jiggly.
Mm-hmm.
I was told to tell the warden about the fight.
He looks at you, raises his eyes, stares down at you, and says, "A likely story," and he raises his spear.
Oh.
It's not his turn, but
Yeah. If it was a likely story, then you wouldn't be doing that.
Does Tico not understand sarcasm?
I think he's trying to lighten the mood.
Jokes.
Jokes. You
Yeah.
heard a jokester.
So you still have an action if you're using your cunning action to
Alright.
to stealth.
I guess I'll just hit him then.
Okay.
Yeah. With my dagger.
So I'm just thinking of the fiction that's playing out
Yeah.
here. Is Tico's first response when confronted go for the knife, or would he try and tackle
he's
this
trying to
guy?
talk, but the guy.
So
doesn't
so
talk.
talking has failed.
Okay.
Is he going to go for the dagger?
Yeah, I think now he is, but not to kill. I think just to distract.
Okay.
or to make it so he can't be
You
followed.
strangled that one dude last
Well,
session.
yeah, straight up garroted.
I really didn't know that would kill him on like KO, but
Don't know my own
I
strength.
snapped a man's neck. I don't really die from that.
oh, this guy, yeah,
So your plan is to just like stab him in the thigh and run as he. Yeah, cool.
yeah.
Panic response.
Oh,
nice,
nice.
nice.
Okay, so 16 plus 4 to hit. So
Yeah, that hits all right. You do not have sneak attacks. This is going to be a D4 of damage plus your
Yeah.
dexterity bonus.
yeah.
Oh.
Well, all right, that's fine. That's 1 plus 2, so that's 3.
He yelps.
Yeah. Hey.
Cool. He yelps in pain and he staggers backwards. He lowers his spear kind of to steady himself. Are you?
I have a bonus action to disengage.
But you've already used your cunning action to hide
Oh.
at the start of this turn when you made that stealth check.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. You can keep running if you want, but you're out of options for disengaging.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep running then.
Okay. He has lowered his spear, but he's going to just kind of swing wildly through the pain of being stabbed in the thigh. And he rolls in that one.
Nice.
Okay, that brings us to the guard's turn. That one that you're chasing, Tico, has made it to the door, and they open it and run inside and close it behind them. The one that you just ran past is going to say, "You stupid kid!" He's going to pull the dagger out of his thigh and throw it on the ground and limp. No. And he's going to throw his spear at you.
Okay.
He's just going to take aim from where he's standing, and he's going to roll a 12 to hit.
My armor class is 14.
Hey!
Yay.
He's slow on the reaction time, and you are not. So you hear the spear whistling through the air, and you manage to duck, and it just goes right over your head and sticks in the ground. Yeah. The guard that is Saranon attacked is going to scramble to her feet, and she is going to take this dented shield. It has this big old, I don't know, like little cap in the middle of it. And she's going to try and smack you in the nose. Going to just try and break your nose with this thing. That is a 17 to hit.
Yeah, it hits.
And 5 bludgeoning damage. I'd like you to make a constitution save for me, please.
Okay.
Whoa.
No. He's got hit in the face.
Save. A 5?
Yes, she makes it. It's totally fine.
A DC 4 check. No, you hear this very unpleasant crack as this shield to the face breaks your nose.
Cool.
Oh, I got an Owen Wilson face.
Yeah, there's just this big stream of blood right down your mouth.
That's kind of metal, though.
Yeah.
I won't lie, I'm not gonna fix that.
I mean, you probably want to heal that a little bit.
Nah.
Okay. That's 2 guards so far. One of them is trying to corral a group of prisoners that has escaped his chain, and he does not get that.
Hey, come back.
And the one that Crowna just beamed is going to turn about and try and smack you with the haft of his spear.
Okie dokie.
That's going to be a 14 to hit you?
No.
No, so you block it with sudden death, and you hear the haft of his spear splinter as it cracks over your cello. And so he's left with this, like, I don't know, sword-length piece of wood. Like, oh, and that's only 4 guards, or that's only 5. There's one more. One of them is going to run in towards Crowna and try and gang up on you after seeing what you did to that other one. Ooh, that's going to be a 17 to hit.
Yeah.
And so this is with the spear, and he is going to roll a d6 and deal you 3 damage.
Okie dokie.
Okay, that is all the guards. It is the prisoner's turn, and first up we have the half-orc that is Saranon is trying to rescue, and he says, don't worry, let's see what I can do to this thing. And he takes his pickaxe, and he raises it, and he's going to try and hit this chain.
Oh, no.
No. Poor guy.
And he rolls a 5.
He's only got like 2 feet of room to move.
Yeah, and so he just slams it right into the rock beneath him, and he's like, ugh! And he looks up at you and laughs and says, I guess this is just, this is awkward.
It's okay, I couldn't do it either.
And the other prisoners are going to do their thing. They're going to try and pile onto one of the guards that was trying to yank their chain. They're just going to start beating each other up. This place is utter chaos. Which brings us back to Crowna.
Okay, I'm gonna take a swing at the bloodied guard.
Sounds good.
Ba-da. That's a 10.
That's not going to do it.
That's fine.
He's raised his shield now. Think.
My best.
A Saranon.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of spit some blood at the guard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna put my warhammer away and cast.
It's right in her face.
Nice. And then I'm gonna cast spiritual weapon.
Right on.
Okay. So this is a +4 to hit. Oh, 12. Fuck me.
That's rough, buddy.
I quit D&D.
And that's with using your wisdom to hit instead of strength? Because it's a spiritual weapon?
It's just a +4, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, my wisdom is +2.
Yeah, 2, and the roll.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Cool beans!
Well-
I'm having a great day in D&D. Well, at least it's out, right?
Yeah, it's out. And so this big, flaming, Neurogolian Zweihander sword just swings right over her. So that was your bonus action to
Yeah.
cast.
Can I try to do it again?
So you can use your Warhammer now as your action.
Oh, that's much better. 22 to hit.
Hey, that's a hit. Yeah.
Blessed.
Yep. Okay, much better. 8 damage.
Nice. You crack that warhammer right into her chest. It beats against the chainmail, and you hear her clavicle go. She is bloodied.
Ouch.
That brings us to Tico.
I'm just gonna keep running after that guard.
Yeah. So you run all the way down. You run up the stairs, and you find yourself in sort of another yard. This yard is wide open. There's no prisoners here. There is a balcony that you run under on the way to the main door. And you manage to make it all the way to the door with your 30 feet of movement.
Yay.
So the door is shut in front of you.
I open it.
Okay. It isn't locked.
Yeah.
The guard did not bother locking it behind him, and you just you yank it open, and you are faced immediately with a choice of left or right. You look down. It is this very thin, 5 foot wide hallway. It's a medieval castle, and on either end there are doors. They're both made of iron, and one of them is closed. One of them is open, and it leads into a small square room with a staircase leading up.
Okay. I guess I'll go through the open one.
Okay,
Because I'm assuming that the guard left it open as they were running through.
it's possible.
Yeah, but I don't have any more movement left, so.
You can use your bonus action to dash,
All right.
using your roguish cunning
I'll just
action.
sort of motor on through then.
Yeah, you take a deep gulp of air and you keep running through, and you make it to the foot of the stairs. And these stairs curl up, it's a square spiral staircase, basically, curling around the edge of this square tower. And your hands are on your knees, you're panting for breath here at the base of the stairs, and you're looking up, and you can hear heavy footfalls running up these stone stairs. It is the guard's turn. So Tico, you hear those stair falls. You hear those footfalls grow farther and farther away from you as the guard runs up the stairs. A Saranon, you hear the guard that you just smacked in the chest wheeze and gasp for breath. All right. I'm gonna break more than your nose before we're done here. And she takes her spear and she pulls it back and just does a quick, fast thrust right at your gut. And that is gonna be a 14 to hit. Okay. How do you block it? Just with your
I have
shield?
my shield out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of do the same kind of hut that she did to my face, and then just be like, How does that feel?
And her spear makes this ding noise. It clanks off the shield, and she pulls it back. And she's just breathing heavily, staring at you. And the two that are on Crouna are going to make their attacks. One is going to use his tiny little thrusting spear now to go at you. He's got disadvantage on this attack. Oh, wow. 16.
Yeah.
And it deals to you 2 damage.
Okay.
And the other one is going to use his actual spear. And that's going to be 12.
Nope.
And let's see. One of them is trying to corral the prisoners, and one of them is chasing after Tico. But you just hear from like very, very far away, labored breathing and quiet cursing as this blustering guard tries to catch up with you.
That's me. I'm that guard.
You hear a click of the inhaler.
Oh, now I feel bad.
No, don't worry. He's part of the prison industrial complex.
I know, that's true.
Just because he has asthma is unrelated to this.
Connected.
It is,
The donut guard.
Oh.
it is the prisoner's turn. For the most part, the chaos continues, and the half-orc by a Saranon looks at you, locked in mortal combat with this other guard, looks at the pickaxe in his hands and down at the chain at his feet, and he takes the pickaxe and he just throws it at the guard.
Good hero.
And he shouts, "Hey, let go!" Oh!
Wait.
As he rolls a 3. And the pickaxe just sails past her like 5 feet wide. and she looks at it as it goes past. You have advantage on your next attack roll as she turns around to follow the trajectory of this pickaxe.
This is the funniest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, I think he belongs on our team. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's
I'm gonna adopt him.
And let's see, any other prisoners doing stuff? No, it's the end of initiative. Crouna, you're up next, but Crouna, you see about 15 feet from you 2 people step out of the dungeon, and it is the red-skinned Cambion Rylock and the grizzled half-orc key-bearer Kargaroth that you met downstairs. They have opened the door, and they are standing out looking at the riot in the yard. And Kargaroth says to the Cambion, "Look what you've done. By letting these prisoners go, you have compromised the integrity of this entire facility. The warden will have my head." And Rylock says, "Yes, you really have bungled this, haven't you, Kargaroth?" "The warden will have your head indeed. Fortunately for me, I'm untouchable. If you need to reach me, I'll be at the Ruby Eyrie in the graces of her ladyship. Toodles." And he leaps into the sky. His 10-foot wingspan unfurls, and with his black hair whipping all around him, he hops up onto the battlements and says to one of the guards, "Don't mind me, I'm leaving. Shoot them, not me." And he flashes them a smile and flies off into the night sky.
Can I look at him and like point at him before he goes?
Yeah,
Just make eye
absolutely.
contact and be like,
Sometimes babies point at me.
Yeah, you follow his movement with your eyes and you point right at him. And right before he leaps off of the battlement, his eyes move from the guard he's speaking to over to you, and he looks at you. And first he flashes you this charming smile, just like, "Ah." And then he pauses for a moment as if he's seen you somewhere before. And he looks at you for a little longer than is comfortable, and then he steps away, turns about, breaks eye contact, and shoots off into the sky.
wanted to do something for breaking eye contact.
Well,
It's my
I'm trying to think,
initiative,
how much
right?
movement does he have? Because if he just jumped
Let's
like...
consult mechanics to see if I can do this dramatic thing.
That's what I'm about. I'm all about game mechanics over fun story beats. You know me. Yeah, sure. Take your turn.
Okay, I'm looking at him. I've pointed at him, and then while still looking at him, I'm gonna swing sudden death at the guard again.
Oh, nice.
This could be you.
I could beat the shit out of you, but you're flying away.
It's a good thing Cueto did not see that whole scene.
Okay, that was
This is already a problem. Already a pretty problematic crush.
up to 18.
18, yeah. You crack this guy in the skull again. Is this someone you've hurt before?
Yes.
Roll that
Oh,
damage.
yeah. Oh. 9 damage.
You gonna kill this guy or KO him?
I'm killing him!
All right. Are we going full-on decapitation or just how do you do this?
I think the helmet stays on. It just rings extra hard, and you can see like blood from his crushed skull inside, like dripping down, and he sways in place for a bit, and then he falls over.
Yeah, there's this
I'm looking
big-
at that motherfucker the whole time.
Like your cello leaves this like concave dent in the helmet, like well into where skull ought to be, and he just and Rylock breaks gaze with you for a moment and looks at the guard on the ground, and then back at you, and he mutters something under his breath. Make a perception check.
Do I sort of notice that he like kind of recognizes me? I got a 21.
Definitely. And he says something in Infernal, which you understand, and yeah, 21, you definitely hear it. And he says, yeah, that's her, all right. And
I mouthed up at him, "You don't know me."
and now he turns about, his wings, and he zips off into the sky. He is heading, he does sort of a full counterclockwise circle around the keep and heads off to the northwest.
Noted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we know where he's going.
Yeah, he's headed to the Ruby Eyrie. He said as much. Okay, that's Crowna's turn. Oh, and Kargaroth has shouted, he's like, "Rylock, you bastard!" And he draws a big mace from his hip, and he charges off into the fray, looking to beat up some prisoners. It is now Saranon's turn.
Okay, so for my action, I'm gonna hit her again.
Okay.
With my warhammer.
All right, that's the one with advantage. Cool.
Okay. Jesus Christ, 16?
That's a hit. That's an
Nice.
exact hit.
Okay, cool. And that's 2. So that's 7 damage.
You gonna kill her or KO her?
I would kill her, but Sarah wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So KO.
Okay. So she turns around as the pickaxe flies wide past her, and she mouths, "What the hell?" She looks back at the half-orc. She actually says, "What the hell?" And then your warhammer comes down on her. Where do you strike her? How do you do this?
So she was looking away,
Mm-hmm.
like right back in the neck.
Nice.
Ooh.
Well, yeah. So as she turns back, you catch her right in the back of the neck, and she's gonna need some massage therapy after this.
Like me.
Like me. You.
We are all bad neck.
Yeah, bad neck squad. Ugh. So you hit her in the neck. You hear like a shoulder blade crack, and she just hits the ground.
Honestly, that sounds like a
That
very
sounds
good
awesome.
massage. I need someone to do that to my back.
Take a warhammer to my back.
Okay, and then for my bonus action,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna use my spiritual weapon and break this guy out.
Make an attack roll.
Yeah.
That's a classic cleric move, is to
21.
KO somebody.
Yeah, that hits. Roll damage.
Much better. Oh, you knocked me out, but now my shoulders, my back is realigned.
Yeah.
If you can deal at least 3 damage.
Okay, so that's an 11.
Okay.
He's finally brave.
Yeah, you take this big divine greatsword. It swings through the air on its own volition.
Warhammer. Or no, it is,
No,
it is
it's-
a sword. Sorry,
yeah.
I forgot.
And it swings right through the air, and it just stabs into the chain and just vaporizes the chain.
We did it!
And the half orc is just leaning against a big boulder that he's been mining, and he's just laughing.
Aw.
He's
What's your name, brother?
I'm so sorry about that.
That's a weird name.
No, that's not my.
That's not right.
Good one, Sarah.
Thank you, Krana.
That was me.
My name is Dinmar.
Dinmar. Okay.
I should. What's your name?
I'm a Saranon Ettin's daughter.
A Saranon. I should get my pickaxe. And he just bursts out laughing again. That was so stupid.
It was a little bit, but we were both struggling. Pick up your axe and go fight. Go have fun.
I'll have as much fun as I can in a prison riot.
Oh wait, my nose is still broken. Go pick up your axe and have fun.
And he looks at you and he nods and he walks over and he goes and grabs his pickaxe.
Wait, before he goes, I want to my hand through my blood and hold out my hand.
And
It's a very orc thing.
he looks at that and he smiles and he grabs your bloody hand and just
Oh, nasty.
Mm-hmm. And he heads off and he grabs his pickaxe. His right hand is just all covered in gore now. It is Tico's turn. You're at the base of a spiraling staircase leading up into the Warden's Tower.
Yeah. Okay. I guess. I mean, I should sneak. I should probably sneak at this point. I'm gonna try to sneak up.
Okay, so as your bonus action, you attempt to hide.
Yeah.
Make a stealth check.
Okay. Well.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna use my inspo.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Oh, sorry.
Cool.
That was a natural one for all you
Well,
listeners.
yeah, this isn't much better, so maybe that was a waste.
What's the roll?
That would be it's an 11.
Well, the guard rolled a nat 1 on his perception. You think you're doing a moderately okay job of sneaking up these stairs. You're doing all the right things as you sneak. You're like hugging the wall. You're climbing up quietly. You're on your tiptoes, and you make your way up around this spiraling staircase.
Things that they teach you in rogue school.
Yeah. And you find yourself in a rather nice-looking hall, actually, as opposed to all of the like dull stone and smoky air. This is like the walls are wood paneled. There are red carpets all along the floor. There are windows with fine glass instead of like arrow slits or open holes. And you hear the sound of a door closing and latching sort of to your left.
All right. I'm gonna investigate the door.
Okay. You make your way across this hall to the door. Before any checks or anything, you see this is a wooden door. It's reinforced with iron bars, and there is an actual doorknob and keyhole.
Oh, good. That's always nice. I'm just gonna investigate it for traps.
Cool.
17 plus 2, 19.
An actual doorknob and keyhole as opposed to like a card reader?
No, as opposed to like an iron ring.
Fingerprint
Oh,
scanner.
okay.
Retinal scan. So you run 2 fingers along the door frame. You find nothing other than some dust. You examine the lock and the keyhole, and it seems perfectly fine. There's no additional mechanisms on this door.
Nice. Can I try to unlock it? Is that?
It seems unlocked.
Oh, what was the click then?
It's shutting.
Okay, I see. Then I'm gonna open the door.
All right, you open the door, and you see 2 people in conversation. You see a guard, the one that you've been chasing, saying, "There's a riot going on out there. A purple tiefling, a half-orc with flame red hair, and a little boy all shouted fight."
He's just a little boy.
Just a little boy.
Just a little boy.
It's like the kind of defensive jerk on like a college campus movie. He's like, "Oh, I'm just a little boy." He's 23 years old. He's an adult in the eyes of the law.
He's just a little boy.
They
2 years younger than Sarah.
they attacked.
Oh.
Ooh.
And he's been living hard, so.
They attacked guards, and the entire prison yard is rioting. And the person he is talking to is a woman with like eggshell white skin. She's wearing a military uniform that reminds you of the one that Renault wore atop Hollow Mountain. She wears it over a suit of half-plate armor. She has blonde hair that is cropped super short, little pixie cut, and across her left temple, all the way across her left eye, is this intense blue scar. And her left eye is this icy blue because of it. And actually, looking over her, seeing bits of exposed skin, like here at her wrists, you can see that this blue, almost magical-looking scar has sort of corkscrewed all the way across her body.
How tall is she?
That's a good question. I made a note of that.
Did you make fantasy Gwendolyn Christie?
I know. I was just,
When you know that I'm not here to fuck.
She's not quite as big as Gwendolyn Christie. Gwendolyn Christie's a little more...
This is homophobia.
She's still like bigger than Tika.
Probably. How big is Tika?
She's like 5'6".
You gotta stop making hot NPCs.
I know.
Stop making hot.
I think she's only a little bit taller than Tika. I'll have to check. She might actually be kind of short. She's 5'2".
Oh,
She's
little.
little. Tiny.
Yeah.
Size.
My size. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right, you're both short. Sarah's like 6'5".
Oh, no.
no.
Tika's taller.
Tika's 5'6".
Kiku's just short.
Yeah.
You're 5'2".
I'm 5'1".
I was
Okay,
like,
I'm only
no
5'3".
way you're 5'2".
I'm 5, maybe 1 point something.
You really believe in yourself that day.
I've been 5'2" at the doctor.
I've been
But you're getting
5'12"
old
at the
now. You're
doctor,
getting on in years.
which is
I mean-
distinct from 6'0" somehow.
I know. I think if they. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I think I.
They have a secret 13th inch.
Talk back.
Talk back. Okay. Yeah, so she's really not that tall. The guard kind of towers over her by like a head and a half.
Okay.
And she looks up at him, looks him dead in the eye with one bright red eye and one pupilless, irisless, ice cold blue eye, and she says, "Get this under control, or I will personally see to it that you and every one of you is stripped of that armor and placed in the mines yourself. Do you understand me?" And he says, yes, understood. I will work out. And he turns to the door to leave. Hey, you! And he runs towards you, and that's your turn. It is in fact...
That was in character, and that was a row.
And it is the guard's turn,
Oh, cool.
and he is going to run right at you, and he is going to use his action to tackle you. He drops his spear and shield and just like leaps. So he's making a strength athletics check, opposed by either your athletics or your acrobatics.
Or his shutting the door.
If you wanted
That
to...
would probably be some sort of athletics, right? Because I would have to like do it fast enough.
I think you could make a dexterity check to see if your reaction's quick enough.
Okay. They're all about the same, so I'll just do that because that seems like something he would do.
Yes.
20, not natural.
Nice. He got a 5. And you
was nervous.
you go ruh-roh and you close the door, and there's a kung. His armor rings against the iron bars reinforcing this door.
But I can't run, so.
Yep, so that's the end of your turn.
Just kind of lean back and hold the door handle.
The warden has entered initiative.
Oh, cool.
What you gotta do is like wait for him to like keep ramming the door and then like
Then let go.
let go
Yeah,
and he
hit the
stumbles out of the
wall.
hall.
Well, and then put a water trap on top. And
Yeah.
Hey,
And a
Sarah.
banana peel.
Shit.
Hey, Sarah, what's your dex bonus?
Oh god, Dex. My bonus? 0.
So is hers.
Okay.
You want to give me a d20 roll?
Okay.
I got a nat 20, never mind.
Okay. Can I roll anyways?
Yeah.
I also got a nat 20.
Second roll off. Double jeopardy.
Your good rolls are coming out.
14.
8.
Yeah.
Warden goes after a
Wish you gave me the
Serena.
nat 20 when I don't really need it.
Yeah, what a useful nat 20 that was when she's like 100 feet away from you.
I have a plan.
And now you know not to assume that somebody else is gonna get a nat 20.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that,
bitch.
when I assume I'm an ass. It is.
Let it be
You,
written down
me?
that you
I
are
am an ass. It is the prisoner's turn. It's the rest of the guard's turn, actually. Crown has got one more on her. This is the one with the broken spear. That misses. Tico, you hear a guard approaching the bottom of the staircase.
Oh, right, that guy.
And the hallway you're in, it does extend all the way to the other end, and you assume, you get the sense there is another staircase on the far end of this hallway as well.
The other door.
The other door. And so, you KO'd your guard. I think that's everyone. So the half-orc that you broke out, Dinmar, goes over towards his pickaxe, picks it up, lets out a roar, grabs it in both hands, and runs off. It's Crowna's turn.
Sarah, doesn't look like you're doing so hot over there. Struggling with some chains, struggling with a bit of. I give her bardic inspiration. That's my bonus action. I'm
Yep.
going to use my action to swing at the other guard. that
Cool.
approached me, the one with the actual spear.
Yes, I don't think this guard has been hit yet.
Okie dokie. Nat 20!
Hey, ding, 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 ding,
There's a light! There's a light!
I hope the camera catches that.
It does.
Well, your dice bag is in front of
right
you.
in front of it.
Ding,
Like,
ding, ding,
there we
ding,
go.
ding, ding, ding,
Hell
ding.
yeah.
Jackpot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
it stopped.
Roll them 2d8.
Okie dokie.
She's trying to be supportive. Let her be bright.
8 plus. Oh yeah, no bonus ones, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's I can do math 11.
That's an exact KO. How do you do this?
I'm gonna just another headshot, just right over the head, just
Yep.
You know what would be fun? You said that sudden death has like a pick at the end, right?
yeah.
Right through the visor.
Oh,
Oh yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Let's lobotomize a guard real quick.
Yeah. Crown lifts up sudden death and just goes right through the visor.
Oh.
ugh, gross.
Pulls it out.
Yeah, this big
Takes
red
his
streak.
corpse back with her foot.
Okay, so how far away am I from the warden tower?
Okay, you're basically at the opposite end of the yard. I'd say you're something like 80 feet away.
Okay, and I don't have my feet anymore. Darn it.
Your
what?
feet.
I took a feet.
Oh.
Oh, at the A team.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened to them?
You
You take them off?
Yeah.
You unscrew them?
They're disposable.
So originally, there was a portion where you might have gone and found a map of this place, but I think since you're basically spread across the entire breadth of this area, I'm just going to hand you the map that I've got, just so
tight.
you can see what's going on.
But you said I'm 80 feet away?
Yeah, you're at the far west wall, and the Warden's Tower is that thing on the far east wall.
Oh, how close am I?
I think you're more like in the middle, like by that staircase between the 2 yards.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
What?
Okay. I'm gonna run 30 feet closer to the tower,
Cool.
and I'm gonna use my spiritual weapon to hit the tower.
The tower?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Come out, bitch!
Because what I'm thinking is there's a balcony, right?
Uh-huh.
I think that's connected to her office.
Uh-huh.
So, can I see, like, the doors that lead to the balcony?
Yeah, from inside? Absolutely.
I want to smash them.
Cool. All right. So your spiritual weapon can move up to, what, 60
feet.
feet? Yeah, so you run 30 feet closer, and you move your spiritual weapon. I don't think this quite works mechanically, but I love it, so I'm going to hand wave that around. Oh, here's how I'm going to say it. You grab your spiritual weapon in one hand, and you sort of pull it along with you those first 30 feet as you run, and then you're like, go. And it goes the rest of the 60 feet on its own.
Okay, so this is a plus 4 hit, please God.
You have bardic
I
inspiration.
do have bardic inspiration. What is that?
So what do you roll first of
I
all?
rolled a 7, but it's an 11 because it's +4.
It's the broadside of a barn.
Okay.
Yeah, so your great flaming greatsword of Nergal goes through the air, sort of spinning like a disc, and then it smashes into the glass door outside of the balcony.
It's a glass door. It's a shopping mall.
It's like a French door, you know. It's like a patio door. It's the warden's personal tower.
I probably knocked down the door of like fucking Keira Knightley in Pride and Prejudice.
I know. It's, very, it's like a very Romeo and Juliet sort of
and
thing.
like, as the glass breaks, I want to just holler up, "Come out and fight, you coward!"
Okay.
So that's cool.
It is her turn.
Oh, I still have an action.
Make an intimidation check for me, please.
Okay. Well, I still have my action too.
Yeah.
Okay. Intimidation check. I think I actually have proficiency in that. 11.
Okay. What's your action?
Do that. Who's the closest guard to me now?
Ooh, so you're there. It's the one... There's actually not a lot. The closest guard to you now that Crowna's 2 are down, Tico's 2 are out of the picture, the closest one to you is one that's kind of trying to tame the prisoners.
Is it within melee range of me?
Sure. He is
Okay.
well and truly distracted, so you can take advantage on an attack
Okay.
against him if you want.
Okay, so I've already used my spiritual weapon. I'm gonna take out my warhammer. I guess I'm still holding it.
Yeah,
And I'm just gonna hit it with my warhammer.
cool.
Hit them. They're a person. 10 to hit.
No.
You got your.
You have advantage.
I just used my. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, so is that just another roll or is
It's a D6.
It's a D6. Also,
Hey.
you have advantage, right?
No, I already used it.
Oh.
Or that
No,
was
you
against
have
us.
advantage
Because he's
on this
distracted.
attack because he's distracted.
Okay, 16?
That's an exact hit.
Okay.
Yay.
So that's. Woo! I'm gonna use it. 6 damage.
He is bloodied.
You like Fushigi that.
I am
Whoa, whoa,
Labyrinth.
So it is the warden's turn. Warden Valorith. Actually, so Tico hears this. You hear the guard puh against the door, and you hear the warden's voice say, "You're useless," and you hear footfalls, her armored boots heading towards the door, and you hear a Saranon's voice come over the wind. You come out if you're not a coward.
That was a perfect decision.
Yeah. That's
On the
definitely
accent,
her
right, and
accent and
everything,
everything,
yeah.
yeah.
And the footfalls stop. And you hear the warden say to the guard, "Deal with the boy." And she turns about, and as Saranon, you see her walk out through the shattered glass onto the balcony. And she looks down on you. You can't really tell how short she is from this second-story balcony. And she puts her hand on the rail and leans over and says, "Are you challenging me?"
Absolutely.
Say yes. Yeah.
You, a prisoner.
I am no prisoner here.
You know, I was told to keep you until you could be properly picked up.
By whom?
I'm not at liberty to disclose that information.
So you are not at liberty for your own life? Are you not in charge of your own fate?
My guards will take care of the boy up here. Join me here on the balcony. We will
cannot
see who
fly,
is
you come down
stronger.
here.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh my god.
Also, your hair.
Valorith.
9. Bad dice rolls.
5.
I'm too hot.
And she folds her arms and says, "Fine. Stay where you are." And she turns about and she goes back inside.
So I just gotta chill here.
Yeah,
That's
when
right,
is she?
Sarah. You gotta play
when
it
she,
cool if you want girls to come to you.
Yeah.
You know. Make them work for it.
It
She'll
is.
come back right away.
It is Tico's turn.
Okay. So she doesn't come out the door.
Not yet. She's had to go out and come back.
This is a ridiculous situation.
Go and get out of there.
I think I'm gonna. Okay, so can I just look at the hallway real quick?
Yes.
What is in this hallway?
So this hallway is what is in the hallway? There are a couple of paintings on the wall.
Yes. Do they look like nice? Are they like?
Yeah, they look fairly valuable.
Where can I put it? His prison pocket. Wink.
I have a bag of holding. Wait, no. Who has
I
that?
do. I have that.
Just roll it up real quick.
Put it in my hole.
So there's like, I mean, you could. There are 4 portraits along the wall. One is a landscape of a beautiful city.
It's not a portrait.
Yeah, it's on.
Or sorry, there are 2. There are 2 portraits and 2 landscapes here in the hallway. One is of a beautiful city.
Is it red?
Is it red?
Is the city red?
The city is not red.
So it's not. We can assume it's not Ruby Irie.
I mean, the city might not be red.
The Irie is red.
I thought we heard that it was all made out of this red stone.
I do remember that. I think I have that written down.
Okay.
Okay. So it is not a red city.
Okay.
And there are 2 portraits of people that you don't recognize. Both of them are in military garb, just like she is. Actually, one of the portraits is a portrait of Renault.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Kind of supreme leader portrait looking down on the hallway. Yeah. But all of these paintings have these very nice gold frames around them. The frames, if nothing else, would be worth quite a lot.
Okay. Well, I don't have anywhere to put them, so. I just like to know. Okay. I guess then I'll just hide.
Okay. Where are you hiding?
Well, if there's no chandelier.
So you can go for the drama, Phantom.
Oh, I need to readjust. Sorry. I moved too much.
I guess I'll. Okay. Okay.
He's like in this hallway going,
Okay, alright.
I need to shove yourself in one of the vases.
Ready or not, here I come.
Which door does the
There's
door
iron
swing
bars on the door, right? You said there's iron bars?
Yeah, it's reinforced.
Okay, I'm gonna hang on to the door.
The door does swing outwards, yes. So you hang onto the door. Make a strength check.
Oh, okay.
Or athletics.
Okay, I'd rather do athletics. Hey, 21.
Okay, yeah, you grip onto the door. You just hang on there. And on the guard's turn, the door swings open. And he steps out, looks around. What the hell? Where did he... And he just stands in the middle of the hallway, looking to the left and to the right.
Okay.
And the door is just hanging open. The warden is following, maybe about 20 feet behind him. You hear the other guard huffing and panting, climb up the staircase, and emerge at the very far end of the hallway, but you are shielded from his vision by the way the door has swung open to the left as he emerges in the right end of the hall. And he shouts, "Have you seen him? Have you seen that boy?" And the other guard says, "No, he was just here. I don't understand." It is Krauna's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna also move towards the tower.
Okay.
There are no guards left in this courtyard.
There is one that's trying futilely to wrangle a chain gang of prisoners, but
You're in a group project,
the
you're the old
keymaster
one.
on there too?
oh yes, Kargaroth, the keymaster of the prison, has sort of joined the melee, but he is surrounded by prisoners.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the one who's trying to wrangle the prisoners. I'm gonna tap him on the shoulder. Then I'm going to attack him. 10.
Okay, Saranon, it's your turn. You're standing there. You're waiting for the warden to come
No,
down.
I'm gonna hit that guy too.
Okay.
Like, I've got time.
Like Mr. Incredible, you've got time.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna use my action to hit him with my lore hammer. Natural one on that one.
Ooh.
And then I'm gonna use my bonus action to hit him with my spiritual weapon.
It's very hard to hit, man.
18?
Oh yeah.
And that's 1d8, I believe. 9 damage.
How do you do this?
Same way I did the last guard, just kind of bing,
Nice.
They fall down.
Goes down.
Crowda looks at Sarah and she goes, good hit. Oh, you kind of had a bigger instrument too. More surface area though. But good job.
I kind of wipe more blood off my nose. I turn back to the tower.
You're just like, you're waiting. You got your hands clasped. The riot has sort of begun to ignore you. It's fully contained in the prison yard. You were in this courtyard.
Just watching from the sidelines now.
Yeah, basically. Tico, you have some time to escape.
Yeah.
So you have 2 guards out in the hallway that are not looking at you, but that are searching for you.
Okay.
And you are hanging on the back of this door.
Okay.
And meanwhile, the warden passes out of the door. She passes out.
She's like this.
Leave her alone.
Goats.
She exits her room and she walks down the hall and does not even deign to look at these guards, and they salute and stand up straight as she passes, and she just walks by.
Steal all of her shit.
And
I lost my boy.
I've abandoned my boy.
My boy.
And she heads down the staircase that you climbed up from.
Okay.
So what's Tico doing?
Steal all of her shit.
I know, that's the plan. Oh, don't worry. I guess, okay, so when I first looked at the door, did it look like it had a lock at all?
Yeah, it can be locked from the inside.
Okay, one of these guards have keys. To the warden's office? No way. I am going to climb over the door. I'm assuming they've moved out of the doorway.
If they look
Oh, yeah,
up,
yeah, yeah.
They're just gonna see this bug-eyed, like...
Just kidding, no.
I was going for Spider-Man. You went Gollum. So I'm gonna do that. Do I have to make a dex roll?
Yeah, make an acrobatics roll, please.
Oh, nice. That's even better than
Nice.
dex. That's a 21.
Yeah, you just like hop and no, you like grab your hands on top of the door and you just like vault over and you
Nice.
land.
All right, and I'm gonna close it real quick behind me. So I'm in the office and lock it.
Yep. And the guards hear the door close and lock, and they turn, they go, "Hey!" And they run over and they start banging on the door. "Hey, let us in here!"
Idiots. I'm gonna investigate the room.
Okay.
Someone's in here.
So this room is the most opulent room of the entire prison. It's not like gold plated, but it's the walls and floors and ceiling are nicely wood tiled or wood paneled, I guess. There are seats with actual cushions. There is a cozy looking fire in a fireplace. There is a mahogany writing desk with an oil lamp burning on top of it, and several papers that look like they're being in the process of being written. There is a decorative suit of armor that stands on one wall of the room, and 3 tall bookshelves filled with books of varying nature.
That means nothing to me.
That's fine.
I'm gonna, real quick, because they're banging on the door, I'm gonna put the portable wool down right in front of it, just in case, if they get through. Yeah, you can check that.
No, go on. I know you can do it.
Okay, cool. And I'm going to go to the desk and see, are there any drawers that I can rifle through?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna rifle.
You grab one and the door is locked, or the drawer is locked.
Okay, I'm gonna try to lock it.
Hi, dude, you're being this guy. You're being
Yeah.
Portable Hole Man.
Hey, that is me.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Yeah. Cool. No beard though.
Yeah, not a beardy boy.
Maybe if I grow a beard, they'll stop calling me a boy.
But it'll be one of those like middle school weird mustaches, probably.
He's 23.
He's 23.
I think I'm pretty sure.
Rami Malek can
Yeah,
grow a pretty good
I was
beard.
just gonna say, but I was like,
His
that's
twin brother grew
not
a
that
Malek can grow a pretty good beard.
Yeah, not that that has any bearing on Tico at all. It's
So-
100% original character.
A purely arbitrary decision.
Yeah, so I'm gonna roll for lockpick.
Absolutely.
That's 10, but my sleight of hand is that?
You add your dexterity and your proficiency.
Okay, so that's plus 14.
Okay. It takes some time, but you manage to pop it open. So it takes the time it takes for the warden to get downstairs, and you pull open this desk, and what you find in the drawer is a sealed letter, a bit of sealing wax, a signet ring,
That's what I was looking
and the letter is actually fairly heavy. It's thick. It's about a ½ inch thick,
Oh.
and it has some heft to it.
for. Okay, I'm gonna take all of it.
Cool.
Just
Fabulous
shove it in my
in there.
pockets.
Yep.
Um,
And it is addressed
I
to.
can't read that.
It is. It sure has some funny scribbles on the front.
We gotta teach you how to read.
So you look at it. Heavy.
I know it looks important.
Maybe money, maybe some fat stacks.
I mean, I
Could
know.
be.
Yeah.
So yeah, you take the letter, you take the wax, you take the ring, and you're off to the races. As Tico opens the desk drawer and all of that, Crown and Saranon, you see the door to the keep open up, and out strides Warden Valoreth in her scarred and pitted armor with her military jacket flowing out behind her.
Should have prepped in action.
And she looks at you first with her gleaming crimson eye, and then with her weird magical blue eye.
Not weird, just different.
And this whole time she has her left hand resting on she has her right hand resting on the pommel of this long sword at her hilt. That it has wings for a crossguard, but it is so tarnished and soot blackened and just nasty looking. Looks like this was once a very beautiful weapon that has just been devastated by time or corrosion or something. And she stops, she rests her weight on one foot and says, 2 challengers. Fine, I can take 2 challengers too. What are the stakes of this one then?
Freedom.
Yeah, we want out of this joint.
Eminently reasonable. I have a buyer that would pay a vast sum of money for you. Can you pony up?
What?
I said, I don't capture people for no reason. You aren't laborers. You're of no use to me down in the Sanguinite mines. I have a buyer that's very interested in the 3 of you. That's the reason Rylock attacked your carriage when you were being pulled out. I wasn't going to let some grubby hobgoblins devour you.
Well, thank you for that. But I
Yeah,
am
we're really grateful, but
a
no one's
free
gonna.
woman.
Yeah, no one's gonna sell us. That's fucked up. And I don't think that's how this is gonna go.
And you don't think very much at all, do you? All right,
Oh,
let's...
You shouldn't be laughing at that.
that was me
Sarah.
laughing.
Could it be Sarah laughing though?
No.
Okay.
So if you win, you go free. If I win...
We still go free?
Yeah, I mean, I think either way, we're gonna want to not be here anymore.
I can give you back the rest of your keys if you win.
I can promise you that if I win, you won't be here in this prison much longer at all. There is someone very interested in you in Kailumbra up north.
That doesn't mean anything to me. Why are they interested? Just their good looks.
Let's call it that. And she says, right then, how about you? And she brushes her cape backwards. She, with her left hand, draws this wicked longsword, and all of those bizarre burn scars across her body begin to glow with blue light. And this growling begins in her throat. And she steps forward just a few steps, and a shroud of darkness begins to surround her. And just as she is about to let loose a terrible scream, we're going to go to break.
Okay.
Thanks for telling us about the terrible scream ahead of time. What to expect after the break.
Looks like she's gonna scream. Either to sneeze or scream. Yeah, we'll find out.
Sometimes it's both. Chew.
All right, we're going to break.
Yeah.
We'll catch you in just a little bit. Peace. Hey there, welcome to the middle of the episode. I want to take just a short break to come to you from the future. As you can see, my haircut's a little different. To talk about some very cool stuff that Worlds Apart is doing, and that our sponsor, Kobold Press, is doing. Now, one advantage of me coming to you from the future is that I can talk to you about Kickstarters that are happening right now. The Kickstarter I want to talk about is Tales of the Old Margrave, which Kobold Press is doing right now. And I'm coming to you from the Grand Forest from behind my house because Tales of the Old Margrave takes place in a grand forest, a great, mysterious, and ancient forest set in the world of Midgard called the Old Margrave. But, of course, like all the other adventures Kobold Press makes, it's very easily portable to your own home campaign setting. Now, some of my best friends in the gaming industry have contributed to this book, and I really want to see it succeed. That would be folks like James Introcaso, Dan Dillon, Wolfgang Bauer, and a lot more other very cool people. In fact, that list includes the guy who made the Druid class for original Dungeons & Dragons back in the 70s. What? And he's going to be making more Druid spells, subclasses, and Druid-focused items for 5th edition for this Kickstarter. That's crazy. What? Anyway, there are a lot of stretch goals, including that classic Druid stuff that have yet to be unlocked in Tales of the Old Margrave. And I really want that stuff. So I'd love it if you went and backed that Kickstarter. Kobold Press would be super happy too. And you'll be super happy because it's going to be a kick-butt adventure book. Okay, next up, I want to talk to you about two books that I love to use in Worlds Apart, the Tome of Beasts and the Creature Codex, both from Kobold Press. Now, actually, as it turns out, I'm using neither of those books in this episode, because when we filmed this episode, the Creature Codex had not come out yet, and I have a very special boss encounter, Valorith, that I made myself, so no Kobold Press monsters today, but I will also be using some new magic, blood magic, that Kobold Press made in their Deep Magic series, and that also appears in the Midgard World Book, their own campaign setting. So I'm going to borrow a little bit of cool, evil magic from them for this particular episode. I'm pretty excited about that. Usually, in an episode of Worlds Apart, I feature a monster or several. Check out next episode for a ton of them, from either the Tome of Beasts or the Creature Codex, both of which are filled with over 300 new monsters apiece for 5th edition. And they're all expertly designed. I had a hand creating some of them in the Creature Codex. I'm pretty proud of those. And again, folks like Dan Dillon, James Introcaso, Wolfgang Bauer, and many, many more contributed to the Tome of Beasts and Creature Codex. They're awesome. I really urge you to check them out. There are links to all the Kobold Press stuff I've just talked to you about, the Tome of Beasts, the Creature Codex, the Old Margrave Kickstarter, in the video description down below, so please go ahead and check that out. Okay, the last thing I want to talk to you about today, before we get right back to the show, to Bloodrock Delve, and to the cool boss fight coming up, is the Worlds Apart Patreon. We've got a Patreon that allows you to help support the show by chipping in a few dollars every month to improve our equipment, like our video quality, our sound quality, helps us get headshot photos, helps us get new music and art, and all those cool things that just make the show a much more pleasant and epic and immersive experience for you to watch. We couldn't do any of that, without your support on Patreon. And right now we are coming up on a brand new Patreon goal. In fact, our very first Patreon goal, which is to turn this show from a YouTube series into a podcast as well. So we'll start going through our backlog and turning all of our audio into podcasts that you can listen to on the go. This has been a goal of Worlds Apart from the very beginning, and I really want this to happen. So we're currently sitting at just a little bit over $150 of Patreon revenue every month. If we can get that up to $250 through a bunch of tiny little pledges, then we will be able to hire a podcast editor, because, gosh, I don't have time to edit any more content right now. I'm slammed. We can get a podcast editor. We've got someone in mind. They are very talented, very good. I promise you that you listen to their work on other D&D podcasts. So we're all set to go. We just need to be able to, pay our friend. All right, let's get you back to the episode. Without further ado, the second half of Worlds Apart, Episode 4. Let's go. See ya. All right, welcome back. Here we are. We're ready for a fight.
Yes.
All right, let's get right into it. Roll initiative, please.
Okay.
What did Crouna get?
12.
12 for Crouna.
11.
14.
Hey. Saranon, you've won initiative.
Yay. I did it. So my regular action, I'm going to start with that first. I'm going to swing my war hammer at her.
So you're going to run up 30 feet and attack her? Yeah.
13 to hit.
That is not going to do
I
it.
didn't think so. Okay, and then I'm going to bonus action hit her with my spiritual weapon.
Okay.
And that's an 18 to hit?
That's an exact hit.
Nice. Okay. So, D8 plus 6 damage.
Ooh, okay. So you run up and you try and clobber her with your warhammer. But she raises her shield, knocks it aside, and as she does so, she opens herself wide up for a great flaming spiritual greatsword to get her. All right, it is her turn now. And I'm assuming that Crouna, you're like 50 feet back where 30 feet back where Saranon started this fight from. Okay, so Valerith is going to look at you, Sarah, and she is going to raise one hand, the hand that's holding her shield. Or I guess I should say she raises her shield, and right at the top of the shield, there's this fine sort of silver gem-studded trimming going along the edges of it, and she says, 2-on-1 isn't very fair of a fight. I think we should even the odds. And this red gem at the tip of her shield glows bright, and 3 howling wraiths, these blood-red spirits, burst from the gem and array themselves about 10 feet behind her. And she says, "Spectres, let's show them what we can do." That was her action. So she is just going to stand right next to you, shield and sword raised, just in a ready stance.
Okay.
It is going to be Crowna's turn.
Okay, I want Valerith to make a intelligence saving throw.
Okay. She rolled a 3.
Okie dokie. Oh no, me too. I totally understand. Crouna is going to make this an illusion appear in a 10-foot by 10-foot cube.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a giant glowing angel.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it looks down on Valerith, shedding its blinding light or whatever, and the phantasm can deal 1d6 psychic damage to the target if it's within the phantasm's area or within 5 feet of it. And the affected target is so convinced of the phantasm's reality that it can take damage from the illusion, blah blah blah. So yeah. This angel's got a big purple flaming sword. So this angel says, in a booming angel voice, "Valerith, your reckoning has come." And she swings her big sword down on Valerith.
Cool. Roll that d6 damage.
Okay. Wah, 1.
Okay.
Do I want to do that? Nope. Yep, that's what I do.
All right, cool. And that will persist as long as she believes in the illusion.
Yep.
So that brings us to Tico. You are upstairs. You hear a battle break out downstairs. And you've
already
just
been,
well, you hear another battle break out downstairs, and you've just put a hefty envelope into your pocket. What are you gonna do?
I feel like I should steal more stuff. Before I go
Just
down.
fight outside
Yeah,
and
we've got
like.
this covered.
I think I'm gonna I guess other than I've seen everything on the desk,
Mm-hmm.
I assume.
Mm,
Well, is there another drawer?
there are other drawers in the desk, but none that are locked.
Okay. Usually I keep the good stuff in the locked. There's no gold.
There's like stamps.
Like,
Stamp collection.
yeah, that's what Tico needs.
You know, there's
Nice
like
hobby.
pens.
Pen collection.
It's like everything you'd find in a desk. A stapler, a fantasy stapler, you know.
Stapler. Well, I gotta take that.
What's this new contraption? I hated this.
No. Is this a stapler? No. But you look through, and most of it's just bric-a-brac.
Okay. Well, if it's just bric-a-brac, then I guess I'll go out on the balcony.
Okay. You go out on the balcony. You again feel the smoky air surround you. You look out and you can see the entire prison fortress arrayed beneath you, and you can see from the top of the little mountain that you're on, you can see rings and rings of stony outcroppings spiraling downwards. And off in the distance, towards the northwest, you can see a tiny speck, a little red speck, flying towards a ruby city. This many-towered metropolis that is built atop of the mountainside.
Can I see about how far away the city is?
It's several miles.
Oh, so pretty close?
I guess several is kind of a big range. It is probably 10 to 20 miles away from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And sort of beyond that city, the mountain it's built onto sort of rises and rises until you see the volcanic peak that you assume you awoke upon.
Okay. Well, I guess from up here I should be helpful. And I have a short bow. And I'm going to shoot it down at... What's her face?
At Valorith.
Valorith, yes.
Hot lady.
Yeah, well, she's okay.
So judgy now.
She's
Too small to be hot.
Yeah, she's shorter than Tico.
Oh, you. Okay, okay.
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 Make that attack roll.
Okay. 12 plus 4 is 16.
That is not gonna hit.
Alright, but it is gonna allow her to know that I'm up here.
Yep. So you... Oh, because you don't have Skulker anymore, do you?
Nope.
Yeah. You shoot your arrow and it lands in the dirt next to her, and she spins about for a moment and she affixes you with that piercing blue gaze, and she raises her teeth a little bit and snarls, and then turns right back to Crouna and to Saranon.
She still see the angel? Not bothered by that at all.
Oh, I mean, she is absolutely transfixed by this angel that's appeared before her, and she glances up at Tico for a moment, but then she just turns right back to it.
Would I get advantage on my attack roll because she was distracted?
Actually, you should have had advantage on your attack roll because she wasn't aware of your presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead.
That was a 14 before.
Sounds good.
Well,
No.
Alright, it doesn't make a
Big ol'
difference.
three.
Do any of you hear like a high-pitched ringing noise?
Uh-oh.
No.
No. It'll go away in a sec.
You okay?
I think I'm just imagining it.
Did you drink water?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think I'm just like imagining an electrical hum.
Okay.
That's
It's just
tinnitus.
tinnitus, yeah.
It's a common thing.
I got it. Sometimes I hear it at night. I'm like, fuck this again.
That's the ghost trying to whisper to you.
Or
It's just kind of a high-pitched scream, or like...
Ah!
They're just part of a metal band, you know? You gotta get into Screamo.
As a ghost.
Yeah.
Obligatory.
May,
Maybe I'll skip out on being a
may.
ghost.
May,
Is that your
may.
plan? Is that your long-term
Good
plan?
track, Jenna.
Yeah. Well, it worked last week.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a nice way to stick around and see everything without committing to being mortal.
Hang out with your mama, May.
Boring.
Trying to escape again.
I love that grumpy cat.
I know.
You fed them.
You fed them?
Yeah.
Okay.
You bought more.
Well, how about just leave that door open? She's gonna get out anyway.
Bad girl. Actually, I'm gonna move the chair so she doesn't make banging noises.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Bang on my chest if you think I'm perfect. Beautiful. What an echo.
I was gonna go bang bang into the room. Bang bang into the room.
I know you want
Bang bang.
Not like you.
All right. All right. All right. So, Tico, your arrow right into the ground. And she is just, her gaze is torn right back onto that angel. Saranon, it's your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same shit. I'm gonna try to hit her with my weapon again.
Cool.
That's 4 still. That doesn't hit. 10. I'm gonna hit her with my spiritual weapon again. Natural 20.
Oh.
So that's 2d8. Plus 4, so 15. Yeah, 15 damage.
Nice. Right on. She gasps as is it the spiritual weapon or the warhammer?
Yeah.
As the spiritual weapon cuts into her, and she is forced down, not onto a kneeling position, but she's stooped before this angel now. It is her turn, and yeah.
I have savage attack. When I
Oh, yeah.
critical hit, roll one of the dice an additional time and add it to the extra.
Yeah, half orcs, babe.
It's 5 extra.
Nice.
So that's 20 total damage.
She looks up at this angelic form that is before her. It is gazing down impassively, its sword at its side, and Valorith just she falls apart. I mean, she is weeping before this thing. Her blue eye is crying these icy cold tears, normal from her crimson eye, and she looks up and says, "I did what I had to do. Everything that you have placed upon me, I do not want this." And she points at the blue scar across her face. It is the laws that you put down. They were unjust. I could not follow them. And the angel says nothing, being a phantasm. It just looks upon her, and she breathes heavily, and she stops. She just scowls, and she stands up straight and says, "Fine, give me silence like you always have. I'll take destiny into my own hands." And she turns about, and she looks at you, Saranon. "That flaming blade you carry, I think I've seen it before. Die." And she raises your flaming blade looks kind of like that angel's.
Yeah.
And she raises her longsword, and she's gonna, as a bonus action, cast Bloody Smite.
Ooh, exciting. I have regular smite.
And her sword hand, her porcelain white skin just bleeds red, and it just from her palm, and it just goes down her arm, and her sword is enwreathed in this crimson glow, and she's going to make 2 attacks at you. First, that's not going to do it. That's going to be a 10.
Nope.
And next, that is going to be a 17.
Yep.
And this sword comes down upon you. So first of all, you take 7 damage.
Okay.
And next, you are going to take an extra d6 necrotic. So 5 necrotic damage as the weapon pulses with a dull crimson light. And you're going to have to do something at the start of your next turn.
Cool beans. I've got 7 hit points left.
Who? It is going to be the specter's turn, and these mist-like sanguine specters begin to float forward. One rises up to the balcony. 1 and 2 of them go after Krona. So the one that's going towards Tico is going to raise one gnarled claw and just swipe at you. It's going to roll a 7.
No.
And the 2 that have moved towards Crown are going to do the same thing. Each one's going to make a swipe at you with its ghastly claws. One's going to roll an 11. The other's going to roll a 9. Both of those miss. They just clash against sudden death. So, Krona, your turn.
Well, another d6 of damage is going to be dealt to the warden.
The angel raised her sword and just...
3 damage.
Okay.
And
She is bloodied.
Ooh, fancy. And I'm going to use a blade flourish and go get over there to her and try to hit her with sudden death.
Nice.
No.
Okay. It is now Tico's turn. This spirit that has appeared before you it seems to be made of a crimson mist. And it looks actually like it is it looks kind of like the guards that you've seen here before. It has this spectral helmet and scraps of chainmail out of it. But once you get to the bottom of its torso, it becomes like this ragged, incorporeal form, and its face is just like a skull.
They're still working here after they die? Ooh, that's some good capitalist critique. I have a feeling my normal weapons are not going to do anything to this guy. Usually that's how ghosts work.
Got a lot about ghosts. Watch a lot of BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yeah, it's 2 guys that just like do puppet shows in the street.
Yeah.
About ghosts. I'm a big fan.
Demons, it's your boy.
So I don't know what I can do really.
Just go on, get.
I'm gonna try to shoot her again.
Okay. You have disadvantage on the shot because you have a guy in melee range with you, this ghost.
Can I grab him?
Yeah.
Well, again, the disadvantage did not do much because they were both terrible.
Well, the ghost tries to get in front of your shot, but your shot was way off anyway.
Did I hit like a random prisoner? Sorry.
Ah.
Oh no!
He's having a bad day.
That's true. It's like, no, I should have blocked it. It's my bad.
Okay, Saranon, back to you.
For my action, I'm gonna. Okay, so has it been like a day since our fight with Renault? Okay, good, because that means I have my prayer beads back. So for my action, oh shit, that's a bonus action. Shit. Yeah, okay. For my action, I'm gonna hit her again with my mace or warhammer.
I'll hit him.
Hit him. 16. That doesn't hit.
No.
Okay, and then for my bonus action, I'm gonna use one of my beads of curing on me, and then it's a 2nd level cure wounds.
Sounds good.
2d8. Whoop. So I get 6. I'll get 10 hit points back.
Nice.
That's good. Yeah. I needed that. I don't want to heal my broken nose yet, though.
Okay.
Priorities.
Listen, it's a cool look.
It is Valorith's turn, unless you'd like to move.
Nah.
Okay. It is Valorith's turn, and she is going... basically, every time this angel deals damage to her, she is pulled back to looking right at its blank, dead eyes, illusory eyes. And... just reminding us that you're here, huh?
She's taking a
She's
walk
asserting
about
her
me.
power.
Yep.
Fuck up your setup anytime.
What's down
No
here?
attention to the cat behind the curtain.
Okay. It is Valorous' turn. She's looking right back at that angel, and she manages to tear her attention away from it. She ends up sort of gazing past you, Aceranon, just sort of into the middle distance, and she's breathing hard. She's bloodied now, not just from her own blood magic. Oh! It's the start of your turn.
Oh yeah, wasn't I supposed to do something?
Yes. So at the start of your turn, while she is concentrating on this spell, and she maintains concentration, you cough, and blood pours out of your mouth.
Cool. More blood.
And you're going to take 5 necrotic damage.
Because you're a bloody nose now.
I'm bloody again.
Oh, I'm dumb. So at the start of your turn, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Con save 15.
Okay, so you don't take that damage, and the spell actually ends. You beat your chest a little bit, and a little speckle of blood comes down out of your mouth.
Spit
But
right in your face.
yeah, it just goes across her face, and she scowls at you, and that right as she was beginning the fight, this dark shroud had surrounded her. It looked like she was about to scream in rage and hatred.
Or sneeze.
Or sneeze. But she was distracted by monologuing at you, essentially. But she takes a 6-inch step back from you, not enough to provoke an opportunity attack. She shuffles back from you just a moment, and again, your vision feels like it constricts. Like in Lord of the Rings, when Frodo sees the ring wraith for the first time, he's like looking down that forest path, and that forest perspective thing happens. You get this forced perspective tunnel vision around her, and everything else just goes shrouded black, and her blue scar on the backs of her hands and across her face glows bright white. And she lets out a terrible howl, and 2 black skeletal wings burst from her back as she does this, as she reveals the power of her fallen Aasimar heritage. And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Those the angel ones?
They're...
Big old 10.
So you are frightened. You're absolutely terrified of her for 1 minute.
Okay.
So while you're frightened in this way,
I have to run, right?
you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while you can see it, and you can't willingly move closer to her.
Okay.
But that's all.
Okay.
And you get another save at the end of each of your turns.
Okay.
So fear strikes your heart. You shrink a little bit. Not literally, you shrink back a little bit, and this glowing blue energy rolls down around her entire form and along her blade. It looks like a little bit of extra necrotic power has empowered her strikes. And that was her action this turn. So now does the specters again. Tico, you're going to get this guy getting all up in your business one more time, and it is going to roll a 14.
That is my armor class.
Yeah, so you are gonna take... You're gonna take 3 necrotic damage, and your speed is 0 until the end of your next turn.
No, speed is all I have.
Crowna, you're gonna get 2 of these attacks. 15 and 18.
Motherfucker, yeah.
Both of them?
Ooh. I am almost bloodied right now.
So you're gonna take 4 necrotic damage, and your speed is 0 till the end of your next turn.
Okay.
That is the Spectre's turn. Crowna, it's your turn. You've got 2 of these bad boys in front of you. Oh, and your angel does damage.
Oh, yeah. 4 damage.
She takes it. Ah!
I'm going to cast... God. gonna cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've got some healing potions. I could do that. Why does it say one? I should have two. Bought two. Yeah, I'm gonna take a potion of greater healing.
Cool.
How many is that?
That's 4d4 plus 4.
Okay.
And so while you're rolling those, Tico, it's your turn.
Okay.
Those are d6s, my friend.
Oh my god. I know what a D4 is.
Um,
It's a square. It's got 4 sides.
Do you need some?
Yeah, I do.
I was wondering if the guards are still banging on the door.
No, they have stopped.
Okay, they gave up. That's smart. I guess I'm gonna, well, I have no movement. Yeah, you know what, I can't do much. I'm just gonna shoot her.
Okay.
I'm gonna try again. It's gotta work sometime.
Because you got
Oh, yes.
disadvantage.
Okay. That is 15? No.
Mm.
She's one hard to hit.
She
gal.
is, and okay. Well,
It just bounces off that nice armor she's got. Boing.
it's fine.
It,
I'm just biding my time over here.
it is the Serenon's turn. You are no longer afflicted by the bloody smite.
Okay, and I can make a wisdom save?
Against fear as well. I mean, you have a turn. The save comes at the end of your turn.
Okay. So I'm afraid of her,
Mhm.
so I have to run away.
You don't have to run away. You just can't move closer.
Okay.
You're still
But
in.
Crown is behind me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna turn around. And you're fighting 1 or 2?
2.
2. Okay. I'm gonna do what I was doing to her. I'm gonna run up so I'm next to Crowna and next to one of the ghouls.
She's going to make an opportunity attack at you as you flee.
Oh, is she? Shoot, that's right. She's right next to me.
But she's only going to roll a 13.
So I'm gonna hit one of the things with my warhammer. I don't know if it'll do any good, but I'll
Mhm.
try. That's a 22 to hit.
That hits it.
Nice. Okay, that's a D8. That's 6 damage.
You bring your warhammer down through its spectral form, and you feel like the littlest bit of resistance as your warhammer strikes a tiny crystal floating inside its misshaped form. And this red gem is pulled out of it by the warhammer strike and hits the ground and cracks. And its red surface turns dull gray, and the spirit shrieks and disappears into mist.
Cool beans. Okay, and then I'm gonna use my spiritual weapon to hit the other one.
Go for it.
Oh, it's a 6 to hit.
No.
Don't think that'll do it. I turned to Crowna. I did my best.
No, thank you. You did take 50% of the math, if the math is right on that one.
I think there's one more up with Tico.
Yeah, can I?
Oh, well, that's not our problem right now.
Well, you're right, but we gotta do it eventually.
Can I see did I see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a really good view of this battlefield, so you can see a Serenon just slam her warhammer through. You probably don't see like the exact fine-grained details for catching this little gem, but you definitely see her hit it with a weapon and it die.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I can, I rolled an 11 on my wisdom save.
That is not going to do
Yeah,
it.
but I'm still scared.
Yep. Okay, so that brings us to Tico? No, Valorith. It is her turn. Valorith walks away from the angel and just plods steadily towards a Serenon, saying, "You will not run from me.
You told me to.
I will personally send you back to the afterlife that you look after." And she raises her sword, and she's gonna make 2 attacks at you.
Okay.
So, first, 7, 23.
Yes. That'll do it. Just barely.
23 is going to strike you, and you are going to take 1d8, 5 plus 3 plus 3, 11 damage.
Okay.
You up?
Yeah, I'm fine.
So first
You
first you feel the sword slash across your back, and then you feel an extra running from in reverse order from the end of the slash back up, just a burst of necrotic energy. And she retracts her sword and holds up her shield. It's going to be the Spectre's turn. One's going to go after Crouna. Whoo, it's going to be a 14.
No.
A 1 goes after Tico. That's going to hit.
No.
That's over 20.
Mm.
So you're going to take 5 necrotic damage and your speed is 0.
Again with the 0.
Until the start of your next turn.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, until the end of your next turn. Yeah. As this happens, I mean, what happens in fiction is basically you feel just like your legs go numb. Like an icy grip paralyzes you.
Yeah.
Cool.
And could I hear what Valorith was saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. What in particular? Like what she was saying to the angel or what she was saying to Sarah just now?
What she said to Sarah.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. That brings us to Crouna.
Okay. I'm gonna roll that damage for Valorith.
Mm-hmm.
2 damage.
Ow.
You know what? I'm gonna try to get rid of that specter. Annoying as fuck. I swing sudden death at it.
Cool.
Well, that's a 15 to hit.
Yes, that is a hit.
Okay. Good. D8, D8. Here we go. Boo! 6 damage.
That is enough. In fact, 15 was an exact hit, and you pull sudden death right through its spectral form, and you hear a little crack of like crystal as the gem within it shatters, and its spectral form fades away.
Thanks for the demonstration, Sarah.
Sarah knows all about Chris.
This is my life. Get it? Joke.
Atiko, it's your turn. The spiritual guard that grabbed you just retracts its claws
I'm
and
gonna hit
hisses.
it. I'm
All right.
finally hit it with my dagger.
Nice.
Well, darn.
Mm,
That's an 11.
no,
Nope.
you just whiff through its misty form.
That's fine.
Saranon,
Okay.
your spiritual weapon has 1 round remaining.
Okay. So if I'm scared of her, can I hit her?
Yeah, you have disadvantage on the attack.
That's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try to hit her with my warhammer. Am I close enough to do that? Because she came up to me, right?
Yeah, you're in melee range.
I'm gonna try to hit her with my warhammer. That's a nat 1.
Mm.
I'm gonna try to hit her with my spiritual weapon. Damn it, that was a nat 20. But that's also a 17, which won't hit.
One shy. Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, do you still have Bardic Inspiration?
No. And
Ah.
I don't have regular inspiration either. That was a
Dunk.
waste of a 20.
It's her turn
I
again.
just kind of scream at her. Blood pouring out of my nose, out of my mouth.
She flinches a little bit at that. Ugh. She's not looking too great herself. I mean, she's got these cuts all over her body. That magical scar is glowing this bright white light. Yeah, she's looking real freaky. It is her turn.
Oh, I should have healed myself. Whoops, this might get dicey.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Who heals the healer?
I have a healing potion.
About cure wounds.
Oh, okay.
She is going to look at you, and she's going to raise... She's going to take her sword and sheath it, and she is going to drag her hand away from it, the blood from her palm smearing against its hilt. She's going to raise her own bloody hand, and she's going to slam you in your chest with palm open wide, and leave this bloody handprint right on your clothes. And
Why would you do that?
and she smiles wide as the handprint disappears by sinking in towards your
no.
flesh.
Can I flex it out?
You can try and flex it out by making a Constitution saving
I get to make a
throw.
wisdom save too.
Oh yeah, at the end of your turn. Go for it.
6.
Nope. So go ahead and make a Constitution save to try and flex it out.
Oh, do you have
13.
13 will do it. No, not on saving throws, just ability checks.
That's
And attack rolls.
Metal, though.
Yeah.
I let you know.
Yeah. So
What's it gonna do?
this is a spell called Bloody Hands. It's a kobold press spell from their Blood Magic series. And it would have been... very unpleasant
Tell
for
me
you.
how unpleasant. I want to know.
Okay, yeah. So basically, this spell is actually a ranged spell, but I just flavored it like...
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. So if you'd failed that saving throw, you'd take 1 necrotic every round, and you would suffer disadvantage on all attack rolls using your hands as your palms bled profusely.
Ooh.
I've already got like scars from the rope.
Yeah.
So that would have been cool.
And casting a spell with any somatic or material components requires a save to cast. Otherwise, your manual dexterity is shot.
Oh, that's fucked up. It's a good thing I flexed it off.
Yeah, blood magic's nasty stuff.
Thanks, Kobold Press.
Fuck you.
No, Wolfgang, I love you. Okay, that is her turn. It is the specters. There is only one left, I believe, only the one on Tico, and it is going to just keep on shrieking at you. Just
You're doing okay, though.
It rolled a 6. It misses this time.
Oh, okay.
It so you swung your dagger through it, and it kind of like made a little wind that blew it to the left, and it just missed.
Okay.
So it is now Crowna's turn.
Start pinwheeling around.
I'm gonna cast Dissonant Whispers on Valorith
Ooh.
at 2nd level, and I'm gonna need her to make a wisdom saving throw.
Wow, good song.
Bard.
You really do this when you're drunk. I'm so excited.
Oh no, don't tell that to the world.
Hey, dear world.
This wouldn't cause her to be frightened, would it?
No.
Cool. Natural 1.
Yeah.
Hey! So she's gonna take that 4d6 psychic
Ooh.
damage. And then. Yeah, baby.
Oh, she
Good spread.
better be dead.
That's a 15 damage, and she has to use all her movement to move far away from me. So, Crowna, sets sudden death up for playing, and just like this, she pulls her bow across it, but no one else hears anything except for Valorith. It's just this horrible screeching
Yeah.
cello sound being like thrown around her.
And then the angel attacks?
Yes! I forgot about that!
Call me angel.
4 damage. So that's
Okay.
19 total.
Brief. You take your cello and you draw your bow across it.
Is that how a cello
Or-
is held?
I don't know. I mean, you hold your cello like this and you draw it across. Yeah. Is Crowna right or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed. So,
No, you
right
hold
on
it
the
in your
frets.
left hand.
Yeah, hold in your left hand.
Oh,
Bow with your left.
Yeah.
Or your right.
Right,
sorry.
you're right.
Yeah.
you bow with your dominant hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because don't you use the frets on a guitar with your dominant?
No.
No.
Oh, okay, I'm dumb. I've never played a string
Band
instrument
boy,
before.
boy.
I'm banned. Yeah. So you take this and you draw one across, and across her abdomen, like a sword strike, right across her, and she and she grabs her chest with her free hand, and she is going to, on her next turn, cut and run. Tico, your turn.
I thought she'd be dead.
Yeah, 19 damage.
She's hanging on by a thread.
Okay. I'm gonna try to attack this ghost again. Tigo is very pathetic up here.
No,
He's doing is flailing at a ghost that has like 5 hit points.
Is that scene in Ghostbusters where they're just wandering around the hotel like,
Yeah, Tigo's not cool with ghosts, apparently. Apparently he hates ghosts.
Oh, it must immediately use its reaction to move as far as its speed away from you.
Yeah.
Oh. So Valorith runs, provoking opportunity attacks from both of
Both
you.
of us. What?
do I still have disadvantage now?
You're at disadvantage.
I'm
Crowna's
not.
Well, they were both 6s, so that will not
That's
hit regardless.
A 22.
That hits all right.
I crack sudden death down on her. And let's try this one. Come on. Oh, fuck's sakes. 6 damage.
Okay.
Please.
You bring sudden death down upon the base of her neck, and she falls to the ground. She crumples. She hits the ground on all fours. She's breathing heavily. She's trying to force herself up. And she turns herself over so these skeletal wings on her back prop her up. And you look at her, and she's just a mess. She's got blood all over her chest and her face, bleeding, trickling out of her mouth. And she looks up to you like she's about to fade out of consciousness, and she says, "Mercy, I surrender." So on your next turn, you can decide what you want to do with her. Okay, now it's Tico's turn.
Okay. I feel like I should try something else.
Nah.
How far am I up?
Balcony is on the second floor, so you're like 10 feet up.
Are you gonna snipe my kill?
Yeah, that's been going super well. No, because I can't move, I just realized again.
No, you can move. It missed you last turn.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Jump on the ceiling.
Okay. I'm gonna run and try to kick it.
Kick the ghost.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
As I'm jumping, not off the balcony, but like down the balcony.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Hang off.
So you're gonna leap over the balcony. You're gonna try and martial arts kick it, and then spin around and grab this. Okay, so first of all, make an acrobatics check for me.
Is that Donnie Yen I see?
Yeah. Acrobatics, that's 14.
That's all right. That's a great start. So you put your hands on the railing and you leap up and make an attack roll. Add your
Strike?
Yes, it's an unarmed strike.
That's an 11.
So you go straight through the ghost. And now make one more acrobatics check to grab back onto the balcony.
You know how much falling damage is, right? Like, it's so much.
I don't live with that knowledge.
No, add it, please.
That's 8.
No way. So you leap over and you think you're gonna like physically connect somehow with this ghost, and you're like, whoop,
I saw them do it before.
and you go right through it. You tumble right through the mist, and you fall 10 feet down, and you hit the ground, and you take 6 damage.
Jesus.
I'm fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
I think that is.
Okay, at least you're not dead. God.
Yeah, like you're able to get your palms out in front of you, and like, but you still crunch on the ground a little
At
bit.
least I win for most embarrassing turn.
That was really
She
funny.
goes, "Mercy, I surrender." Just immediately behind her.
What if I just landed on her?
Tico?
I just immediately killed her.
What did I miss?
Oh, cool, I won.
Tico, sweetheart, what are you trying to achieve over there? What's going
I
on?
just, that was all intentional.
Okay, what were you doing?
Getting on the ground. And here I am.
Didn't you get up with the stairs?
Yeah, but
Or the
slower.
stairs.
That's slower.
Oh, dust yourself off.
Sarah, it's your turn.
Okay.
That was 5 damage or 6 damage?
6.
Okay.
And my spiritual weapon's gone now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it fades this turn.
Okay. So it's gone.
I mean, I think it actually faded at the end of your last turn, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try to hit her one last time.
So she's on the ground. You're gonna finish her off?
Yeah.
She's
Am I
asking
still
for
at
mercy.
disadvantage?
She's asking for mercy.
Well, actually, yeah.
So here's the deal. She's prone, which means you have advantage on melee attacks against her. You are terrified of her, you have disadvantage. It evens out. If you want to make a straight up attack roll against her, she asks for mercy, and set your intention, go for it.
I don't want to kill her. Can I hit her without killing her?
Yeah, you can knock her out.
Okay. So yeah, I just want to try to hit her.
Okay.
That didn't work.
So you bring down your warhammer just on the ground to the left of her
Right
a
to
little
her,
bit.
right to her face.
I'm
Super
intimidating
casual.
you.
Yeah. And then, are the keys visible on her body?
Ooh, make a perception check. No, you can't see them immediately.
Okay.
You do see, though, that on her person, she has pockets in her military jacket.
Okay. Can I just stick a foot in the middle of her back?
She has turned herself around. She's using those skeletal wings to prop herself up. So you'd have to work pretty hard to...
So wait, she's laying on her back.
So,
now.
no, so she... Yeah. So she landed on her front. She rolled over, and those wings are sort of propping her up so that her feet are flat against the ground, and she's at like a 45-degree angle.
Also, you can't approach her.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah, you can't get closer
Okay,
to
well,
her.
then never mind. I'll
Yeah,
just
so
use my
so
bonus action.
dunk on all of that.
Yeah, I'll use my bonus action to use another prayer bead on myself.
Okay.
Okay.
So it is Valorith's turn. She is going to try and hang on to consciousness. That is a success. What I'm doing here, just so that we know, like, mechanically what's happening, is that, Kat, you did bring her to 0 hit points. I'm keeping her conscious because she wants to communicate with you, and because she's a villain, and I don't want villains to just like fall unconscious when they go out.
When they come on
So she's making death saving throws versus unconsciousness right now.
Okay.
And she succeeded on one. And if she's making death saving throws against literal death right now, and if she fails them all, she dies like a player character would. If she succeeds, she just falls unconscious.
Okay.
But she's hanging on to consciousness throughout all of it.
Okay.
Cool. So one success on her.
I like that. It's more dramatic.
Yeah. I don't really like the way that you fall unconscious before you die in D&D very much. It's like
You can't go out with like a dramatic.
yeah, you don't have a
last
cool
word.
line. Like unless you're like killed outright by a single blow that
Yeah,
brings you to negative
massive
maximum, then it's like, okay, guess I'll bleed out on the ground.
Guess I'll
yeah,
die.
guess I'll die. Yeah. Cool. So she's hanging on a little bit. It is now the Spectre's turn. And it's gonna look around. It's gonna turn down. It's gonna float downwards at Tico. And you are prone. It's gonna make an attack with advantage against you. And it rolled 2 11s. 14?
14 is my armor class.
So you're gonna take 4 necrotic damage, and also your speed is 0.
I'm still here.
So you're just frozen on the ground.
Just use those kicks.
Yeah, so you could make an unarmed strike against it by like kicking.
Just throw a dagger up at it.
It is Crowna's turn.
Okay.
Your angel's sort of hovering over her. It has its
Looking down judgmentally.
looking down judgmentally. It's got the tip of its greatsword in the ground. It's got both hands on the haft or on the
Okay.
pommel.
I saunter up to Valorith.
Mm-hmm.
I look her up and down like, this is messy. This is probably the least sexy thing I've ever seen. You need to get yourself together, because if you can't even wear defeat well, then you deserved whatever these guys, and I point at the angel,
She looks up.
did to you, and I knock her out with sudden death.
All right, make an attack roll with advantage.
I love Queer Eye.
Which of the Fab Five is Crowna?
Well, that was definitely a Karamo speech right there.
Oh my god. Jeez Louise. 13.
I think I'm just gonna like let it happen. Like
Okay,
that's
she's
narrative.
only at 0.
Yeah, like that's narratively interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just lying.
I mean, she's beaten as it is. So yeah, you knock her unconscious. She is still gonna be saving against death, so she needs stabilization.
Can I take out the silver handcuffs I got off myself and like put them around
Oh, that's irony.
her? Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn over, put around her.
No, it's silvery.
Sarah?
Oh, it took you a second. Oh.
Oh my.
I just took my last 3 hit points.
Yeah, so you put these manacles around her. Manacles are kind of more intense than handcuffs. They've got like literal padlocks on them and stuff. So you click, click, and she's just... Oh, and as she falls unconscious, her scars fade back to their normal bright blue, and her wings dissipate, and she falls flat against the ground. She is bleeding out at the moment, so she's going to need to be stabilized by their magical healing, a medicine check, or spare the dying in some capacity.
Interesting.
Acknowledged. So we're still in initiative because it's Tico's turn.
We're like watching you scrabble around like a lost turtle.
I literally am just like a turtle.
Beat this ghost. You can do it.
I don't want to.
Yes, you do though. You do. You
This
just
ghost and I have been through so much together.
You think you don't want to
If I'm
right
prone,
now.
do I have disadvantage?
Nope.
Okay.
You can attack it as
Those
normal.
little kicks.
No, I'm gonna use a dagger. God damn it.
Just-
I know, I'm gonna try. Okay, come on. I
Can't
can
help
use
it.
the
Give it a little
bardic
kiss.
inspiration.
Oh.
Acknowledged.
Well, I could use my bonus action to give. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Well, yep. And that's a 13.
This is so sad.
Alexa.
Crowna, play Bardic Inspiration.
Dun, 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 dun.
No. So you just...
He is on the ground, you know.
This is so sad. Hey, Sarah, it's your turn.
It's a rough
Okay.
day.
I watched that happen.
Sarah, if we hold her hostage, we have some leverage over anyone who might come after us, because she seems like she's pretty high up in the hierarchy as far as things are concerned. Look at this. Look at her little military outfit. Isn't this the same? The same. Yeah, the same shit that Emperor Renault was wearing.
You do have a point.
Yeah. Do you have the other manacles on you?
No, I threw them.
Oh.
Oh.
Tico?
Oh,
Yeah.
and we like look over.
Just like.
Okay, I'm gonna go deal with that real quick. And I
Yeah.
put a hand on the top of Valorith's head.
Oh, you're dealing with that. Oh, I see.
Bonus action. And bonus action I cast Spare the Dying. on her.
Grave Cleric stuff, yep.
Yeah. And then I run over to Tico and I hit the ghost.
All right, make an attack roll. Can this ghost be beat?
16?
Yes.
That's 4 damage.
Okay, these ghosts literally have a hit point. And hit point. So you clip that little crystal out of its body, and it hits the ground, and it shatters like glass. And the ghost.
Are you good? Are you good down there? Do you need a hand up?
It shatters, it cuts Tico's face. And he just dies.
Oh darn, I don't have Revivify anymore.
I already used my Spare the Dying, so.
Use more than one Spare the
Yes, you'll
Dying.
die.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
Just, I'm
Offer a
lying.
very bloody hand over to Tico. Do you want that hand up?
I got it. I'm okay.
Okay.
I can do it on my
She's
own.
still like dripping all over Tico.
Yeah, and I like to
Blip,
pat you right
blip,
on the
blip,
cheek.
blip.
You did a good job.
You didn't see, but earlier I was doing okay.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you.
The curse of Zephyr is passed to Tico this game.
No, I think this is a whole new brand of curse.
It's the ghost curse.
As you're all taking stock of what's happened, you hear Magpie's voice shout out from the prison yard, "Hey!" And she walks over up the stairs, dragging Kargaroth's body by the scruff of his by his collar. There we go. Just dragging this half orc up, and she plops him down on the ground. You know, that guy's a lot heavier than you'd think he is.
Why did you bring him up here? Also, I was wondering where you went.
Oh, I had a score to settle with this son of a bitch.
Okay.
Sorry, long story. He's the guy who took me in.
Okay.
We
Yeah. Sure.
don't need to get into the gruesome details of
I
that.
support settling beef.
Beef, he is a man, not a cow.
You don't know that.
And now,
Oh.
I got something of his, and she holds up one of his tusks. This is mine now.
Oh, grody.
no. Oh,
She tucks
and
it
I
into her
enjoy it.
pocket.
I'm like, oh, that is not good.
It's weird.
No, that's kind of cool. I dig it. Make it into a necklace.
No, that's
Something I did for Astrid when she was a little kid. was once
Did
I
you
fought...
give her your teeth?
I didn't give her my teeth. I gave her a Goliath's teeth that I fought in the... at the long arm, you know, just knocked teeth out of his mouth, and I put him in a little rattle, and I told her this is a maraca, and so she used it as an instrument, but she didn't know that there were teeth inside.
Could you not use rocks?
Can I cast? Sacred Flame? No.
That's horrible, Parrish. And Magpie's looking at you and nods.
So you can do something like that with your younger siblings.
You know, if I have any, I'll keep it in mind.
I didn't think I had any either, but things change, you know.
What the fuck? I'm gonna search the Valorous body for the keys.
Yeah.
Is this investigation or?
Investigation, please.
Tico, can we have a pair of manacles? We're gonna put them on her feet.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can get them back later.
That's okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right, it's mine now then.
You just said she could get him back. He could get him back later.
He said it was mine.
Oh. Saranon.
16.
16. Yeah, you go through her pockets. You find a bunch of stuff. The first thing you find is a wallet, or it's actually more like a little dice bag, actually, a little pouch made of leather, and it is full of coins.
Oh, there are the coins.
Yeah, it's filled with silver coins.
How many?
There are 500 silver pieces in this pouch.
How heavy is it?
It's about 10 pounds.
Oh my god.
Okay, I can carry that. What else?
You find a wooden pipe that cracked during the fight.
Okay, don't need that.
You find a let's see. Tico has her signet ring. You find a dagger that's strapped to her upper thigh.
I'm gonna take that off of her.
Fair. And you find, finally, a ring of keys that is kept in, like, a little holster in her right armpit.
I'm gonna take that holster, too. I'm just gonna take the whole thing.
I know.
Yeah, same.
What?
Oh
Fun
no!
home.
Oh no, she was gay.
Oh
We shouldn't have-
no! And I'm gonna cry now because the song makes you cry.
So yeah, I'm gonna take the whole holster and I'm gonna put it on.
Cool.
I'm gonna unstrap her sword from her as well. And
Absolutely.
hand it over to Crowna to put it in the bag.
This sword is a really remarkable thing. It looks like it was once a gorgeous blade that had some kind of magical power surrounding it. As of right now, it's a +1 longsword that has been corroded by
I'm proficient at this.
poor care and time. But it looks like with some work and maybe replacing some of its gems and other assorted filigree, it could be made to be a very beautiful weapon once more.
Hell yeah.
Okay, all yours. Anything else interesting?
baby.
I wanna. Have we made?
She has a shield. It's a well-made shield. Doesn't seem to be anything special around it, other than it has a shining sanguinite gem in its embedded in the top of it. It's about the size of a glass marble.
Did we handcuff her in the front or the back?
Back.
Okay, I'm gonna take her jacket off
Mm-hmm.
and tie it around her hands in the back, so it's just an extra layer that she has to get through.
Oh, nice.
Up again.
And also like cushions her wrists a little bit so like it won't get bruised.
It's on the outside, so.
Sure.
Yeah, this jacket is specially made to fit over plate armor. Yeah.
What happened to the other two guards?
The other two guards, they...
Still twiddling their thumbs in the tower.
Where is she? No, they actually, you notice now, have been kind of at the edge of this fight for the past 30 seconds or so. They've just been standing by the door watching in... fear is probably the right word.
Arousal?
That's definitely not the right word. And now the Valorith has went down, Tico, you notice that they look at that, they look at you, and they turn around and go inside the door. And they close the door behind them.
Okay, but I need to get my portable hole back.
Oh.
Wait, where is it?
It's on the floor.
Wouldn't you have picked it up on your way out?
I should have.
All right.
Mm.
Oh, that's right. You went out the window.
I vaulted out the window.
Well, go ahead and get it. We'll come with you, I guess. Or no, someone has to stay with Valerie.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Despite everything I said, she's not bad to look at.
Okay. Tico, let's go.
Okay.
Okay, so you both head up. And while you're going up, Magpie sits down. She has taken out a length of rope that she must have stolen during the confusion and just binds the half-orc, binds
Not
Cargarath.
everyone in this world just has 50 feet of rope on them.
They keep it with them at all times.
In their
In
prison.
the prison pocket.
You can't make this a thing. This can't be a Dark World thing.
Ye old prison hole.
I hate it. So she ties him up, and she sort of rolls him onto his side and sits on him.
Who?
The
master.
the key guy. She's just like, She looks at Krona.
I think. No, I don't want to break her hip or anything. I'll just sit in front of her.
Okay. Looks at Krona.
Cat, move your mic closer to your face.
Yeah. Drifted. Mic
Mhm.
drift.
Mic drift.
Continental mic drift.
So she looks at you. She looks off into the distance a little bit. Nods. Mm-hmm.
How about the Mariners?
And she ends up thinking of something to say, and she says, "So, you're not from Gower. You're not from Beldermeyer. You're not from Ruby Eyrie. Where are you from?"
Half Moon City, but I get a feeling you, have never been there, so to speak.
I mean, yeah, so to speak. I've never even heard of the place.
Yeah, it's, one of the biggest cities in Auredane. It's a center
Uh-huh.
for, entertainment. I would say it's a center of culture in our world, but, that's debatable.
So you must have traveled kind of a long way to get here.
Yes, in a manner of speaking, yes. I think maybe a sort of a different plane or world or whatever. I didn't know that was a thing, but, yeah, this is all this. I've never seen any of this before either. You hear of any other, otherworldly travelers coming through here?
Well, even though I've kind of developed into a great thief and I've been busting locks around this place for the past 10 years,
You've been stuck here for 10 years.
I was taken when I was a little kid.
Oh.
Slaps this guy's side, this piece of work. I mean, despite all of that, it's been a long time since I've been out. It's not like they have a good library here.
Well, I hope you get out and about into the world once you're, released.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that. Where do you think you're going after all this?
It's a big world. Nothing wrong with a fresh start. I think I can make the best of it.
Do you think you'll be staying with your friends? They've gone inside the
we're in
keep
tower.
already.
You don't gotta lie.
I don't know.
Hey, I'm headed to a place called Ash Hill. It's my old hometown.
Okay.
It's in the same province as us, kind of in the opposite side of Ruby Eyrie, actually. But I'm thinking of heading back there, seeing if my parents are still in the village.
Probably not.
Wow.
God damn.
Just from experience.
I mean, you might be right, but I have to find out on my own.
Well, yeah, all right. We don't know anyone else here, so if you want to show us around.
Yeah, there's safety in numbers these days. There's too many bandits on the road.
Yeah, speaking of, I want to ask you something.
Sure.
When the warden was talking about selling us to someone, do you know who that might have been?
selling you to someone.
Yeah, she was like, you guys aren't hard laborers, which is true, not with these nails. And she said she was going to sell us to an interested party, and I want to know who that is. And
That's weird.
does that not happen around here?
Not very much, no. I mean, this prison, it's a labor camp. It's a mine. They send people down into the mountain to mine up the sanguinite crystals, and they have some who are forced to deliver it over to Ruby Irie where they process it. But actually trading in people? No, I don't think I've ever heard of that happening here.
Bizarre. Do you think the Cambion, Mr. Rylock over there, would know anything about that, since he was the one who took us in?
Yeah, I've seen Rylock here a lot, especially lately. He is, as far as I know, he is an emissary of Ruby Irie. He reports directly to Lady Carnelian, she's kind of the ruler of this province. She is the one who, if she so desired, could put a stop to all of this banditry and make the people of this land actually safe if she wanted to.
Oh, well, that sounds like it's not my business at all, but I would like to avoid anyone who would try to buy me. And I found that sort of going to your enemy's door and intimidating them first is helpful, so if I take care of that, it will make the rest of my stay in this place a lot more peaceful, I feel like. So maybe when we head past Ruby Irie, I'll pay Rylock a visit.
Good luck, buddy. That place is... I mean, you can go in. It's open to the public. It's a city, after all. But you want to get to Rylock? You want to go into Lady Carnelian's palace and rough him up? Talk some trash about him? I don't like your chances of getting in or out.
Oh, well, I'm a person who can make the best of her chances.
Here's the deal. Lady Carnelian, I suspect she has spies among all of the local bandit groups around here, mercenaries, those sorts of people. She lets them do what they want in exchange for tribute. If you want to get a message to Rylock, you might want to get in touch with one of the local brigands.
All right. I will keep that in mind. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Let's pop over to you guys. You have headed into the key.
The craziest fight. Backflips, front flips. I punched a guy. Mom? And technically I'm homeless.
That's my line.
So you've made your way into the keep. You've gone up the stairs, and you see the two guards that escaped in here, standing by the door of the warden's office, and they look at you and they go, "Oh, hello! It's the two." They just stop and they smile.
Take your time.
Yeah.
I would love to use my wand of fear.
Oh, I think they're already afraid.
Yeah, but I can make them more afraid.
Mechanically afraid.
I don't remember where I put my information on that. I had it somewhere. We can edit this out.
Yeah. Did you see the paintings? They're nice.
I literally wrote this down.
It's literally a wand that casts fear, so just look up this spell fear in the player's handbook.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Where is it? I literally wrote it down. I'm a ding dong. Does anyone have the fear spell?
You do. Just check your little box full of spell cards.
Oh my god.
Or look it up in the player's handbook.
Well,
like
I
said
can't
10
reach
seconds
that.
ago.
Yeah,
That's not too
Oh.
bad.
No, she got the cards.
I don't. But I'd have to find it.
Yeah, that would be impossible.
Okay, spells. Oh,
Eviscerate the people.
because I know there's a difference between casting it on one person and casting it on several. Fear. Okay. Oh, it's a third level. But no, I have it as a wand.
It's a wand, so you expend some number of charges of the wand to cast a cone of fear.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do that. So I'd love them to make a wisdom save.
Okay, they're both going to do it. One's 8, one's 18.
The 18 makes it.
Uh-huh.
But the other guy is scared of me. They have to drop whatever they are holding and become frightened. Yeah. Okay. And then the other guy, because I think casting the wand is a bonus action. The other guy I'm just gonna hit.
So.
Oh wait, no, because I cast on both of them.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Even
though it's a bonus action?
I think it's an action to cast it from the wand.
I wish I had it on me.
Using a magic item.
What's my magic item? D&D Beyond changed their shit, and now I don't know where anything is.
That's better now.
While holding the wand, you can use an action to expend 2 charges. Yeah.
Okay, well.
Okay. So one of them yelps and turns about, opens up the door, and runs out, and you hear him just go, ah! And he jumps off the balcony, ah!
Oh, no.
He must use his movement on each turn to move as far away from you as possible.
Oh, yikes.
Doesn't that take any fall damage? Because I took some fall damage.
Yeah, he takes 3 falling damage.
Okay, there we go.
And he keeps going.
I thought they don't move away from you in a way that would like hurt them.
It says as far away from you as possible.
Oh, okay. I'll keep that in
So
mind.
Krona, you and Magpie are just talking, and you hear and he keeps running.
That's what dissonant whispers. I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Would we have any cliffside battles?
Actually, I do think Dissonant Whispers specifies something about like not running into acid pits.
Into acid pits.
Oh yeah, it doesn't
specifically.
move into obviously you just go. Okay.
But if you just put like a little, I don't know, barrier by the cliff so they don't know it's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other guard looks back and looks at you and says, I understand that you have deposed Warden Valerith and her second in command, and I just wished to strike some sort of deal with you.
Now, let's not. I only have 3 points. And I'm dropping everything. Let's not fight. He wants to cut a deal.
Alright. It appears to be your lucky day.
You can take what you need from this prison, anything that you require,
Oh, yeah, we know that.
and you leave with me unharmed. If you wish to set the prisoners free, that's fine. You leave me unharmed, and I will become the new warden of this prison, and I will rebuild it with resources given to me from Ruby Irie.
How about you step into your new office, Warden?
Thank you very much, Matt. And he walks into the office.
Into the hole!
Wow! You enter
Whoa.
the warden's tower. You immediately are assaulted by like Scooby-Doo slapstick hijinks.
I know, we're literally that and the guy running off a cliff is literally, this is a Looney Tunes episode.
Yeah, you hanging off the back of the door. You being unable to punch a ghost.
You didn't have your Scooby snacks, you know? Next time just eat a piece of beef jerky before you go into it.
That dang acne dagger. Acne dagger.
Listen, a dagger of acne is the worst weapon. I never want to be hit by a dagger of acne in my life.
Just lacerate all your cystic acne.
Okay, no, we're not talking about that.
Woo!
Acme.
Mm-hmm.
Acme brand dagger. Anyway. So now he's in the hole.
So he's in the hole, and it's a 5-foot deep hole, and he's like on the ground. What the? Hey, what happened here?
Yeah, go ahead and close it. Is there air
Is
in
it
there?
5 feet? I thought it was 10 feet.
It is 10 feet.
It's a
Oh,
10-foot
yeah,
deep
the
hole.
robot.
The Guardian was in there. It's 10 by 10.
He takes 5 falling damage,
Ah.
Well, we didn't
That's a lot.
need to hurt him.
and he's in the hole, and he can now. You folded it up, you close it. He can make a strength check to try and bust out.
Okay. That's fine. It's just kind of funny.
All right.
Maybe we can put him in some like a cage or something.
Ooh, yes.
Throw him in a jail cell. I'm not here.
I have rope.
Yeah, but we'd have to get him out to
Oh,
tie him
true.
up. Let's just throw him in a pit. And
Another pit?
well, there's a pit outside.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so we could just throw it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I already cased this room, so I think unless you want to steal anything, there's some gold. There's like some gold frames.
No. I mean, is there any like holy symbols in there, like contraband that she's taken?
Interesting. Are holy symbols contraband where you come
They
from?
might be in here.
Yeah, she might be.
There.
Kinda hard.
So you search more than just like the desk and the stuff. You like go through cabinets and bookshelves and like wardrobes and stuff, and you find clothes that don't fit you for one thing.
Does she have any books on history?
Um,
General geography.
She has 3 big bookshelves, just like the one
Ooh.
that the cameras can't see over there. Yeah, she has 3 big bookshelves that are just full of books.
Okay, I want one on the history of wherever we are. I want one on geography,
Mm-hmm.
and I want one on local religion.
Okay, you go to the bookshelf and you find that these letters mean nothing to you.
Oh no. No one can read in Dark World.
Even flame.
Are there any in Elvish?
There are many that use Elvish script. Like, so you look at common and you see like Latin, but it's like transliterating Vietnamese with Latin characters. There's all these weird accents and stuff. None of the letters look right. None of them make words that you recognize. So you see some stuff in Elvish script, but they don't make words the way you expect to.
I want to take one off the shelf and flip through the pictures.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
When in doubt.
You look through and I think you could find some interesting information if you were willing to spend an hour looking through this library.
Can't
You should
stay.
maybe just grab some random ones and see what you can
Yeah,
do.
I want to... Can I just look at covers real quickly? And
Absolutely.
see if any of those have... I want to look for one that has,
Picture books.
like, a map on the cover. Or something.
Or like in the inner cover or something.
Yeah.
You find one that has a simple map on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I'm gonna take out my letter and hold it up to the book and say, is this the same? Is it
can
the
I...
same script on the letter?
Same script. Yeah, it means nothing to you.
I can't read this. This is not a language I've ever
Man,
encountered.
we could have spent the
Oh.
rest of this campaign all pretending to be able to read and like all actually not being able to read at all. I'm literate. Yeah,
and
it
then
says suck my nuts.
I want to find one that maybe has a holy symbol on the front or something I click as a holy symbol.
You see one that has the holy symbol you recognize. Those
Narrative?
hexagons. No, the symbol of the 6 gods.
Okay, I'll take that one.
Yep,
So
it's
2 now.
it has that sort of heft of like a Bible to you. It looks like some kind of scripture text.
Okay, and then I want to find one that has your nose face on it.
You look through and you do find one that has an artist's rendition of Renault on the
Okay.
front.
How good is that?
He looks a lot more heroic than he does in person.
I knew it.
This is a propaganda drawing,
Okay,
clearly.
so I'm good with those 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna turn to you. I think we are done here. We
Okay.
should go back down.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that guy made a strength check?
Yes, he rolls a 19.
Oh,
He's out.
Whew.
Burst through.
And so, did you just like set the whole folded up on a desk, like on the
I'm
ground?
carrying it.
So you hear a brrrr, puh, and the hole pops open, and this guy just jumps out of it and lands on the ground. Ugh. And he turns around and says, "Hey, what the hell?"
And I hit him with my warhammer. That's a 21 to hit.
Yeah. You knock him out.
Yeah, that's a 7.
Yeah. You're knocking him out. Cool. And he just falls on the
Are
ground.
there any pens nearby?
Oh, there were pens
Yeah.
upstairs.
Oh, you're still upstairs.
Oh, we're still there.
There's like quills and ink, absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna write traitor on his forehead.
Nice.
Oh.
I'm
Wow.
not able to read it.
Oh.
Because they use different scripts.
Oh no!
Like, this means nothing.
Why does it say pizza?
I'm sure they'll get the gist. Can I draw like a skull on either of his cheeks?
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Tattoo artist Sarah.
Ooh, or put the symbol of the 6 gods.
I would just wipe the blood off my face and onto his.
Urakai.
I'm Finn now.
I love that boy.
Yeah,
No,
let's
no.
take a moment of silence.
Just to think about John Boyega.
Yeah, no, traitor, skull, no
Cool.
way out.
Cool. You leave him there. You
Ooh,
walk
I want
out.
to tie him up, actually. Just hog tie real quick.
Wow, just
I mean,
everything.
do you want to just like? There's no rope in this room.
I
Do you want to?
have rope.
Do you want to leave your rope behind?
Yeah, I want to eat it.
Okay.
You say that.
Famous last words,
Yeah.
though.
No.
Sure, there are
Just
curtains.
roll him up in a carpet.
Yeah,
That's funny. I'm gonna roll him like a burrito, and then use like the tassel on the curtain to tie a little knot.
Yeah.
Grow.
And then can I prop him up in her chair?
I just put it on the balcony for everyone to look at.
Slapstick.
This dumbass man.
I
Yeah.
was gonna be like, hey, this is your new warden, guys.
Yeah, you roll him up out on the balcony. Down you go.
No, I'm not pushing him off.
No, and back downstairs you go.
Yeah, we're
You
good.
could find like a warden badge lying around her office and like pin it to you.
Sheriff.
Yeah.
Sheriff to
It's like the
dumbass
sticker
town.
version that they have.
Sheriff.
Oh,
Dumbass.
that's the other thing you find on Valorith. She has 2 medals
Ooh.
on her jacket, and one of them is in. Here, I'll show them to you.
Yeah.
Cut.
What? Meow?
Cut.
Cut.
Guys, it's so hard to run audio for this when you're all making it so funny. Sometimes it's not on purpose.
Guys, I kind of sneeze though.
After you're done looking that up,
These are medals that.
Joey, hold on. Caio's adjusting her mic.
Oh, sorry. You good?
No,
Are we
I'm
good? Yeah, we're good.
These are medals from Renault's jacket. I'm going to be cutting this footage too.
Okay.
But these are basically the medals she has.
Ooh.
So it's like a demon head and
And it's like a shield that it's like a silver shield with a blue background that has it kind of looks like a cross.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pin those on me.
Okay.
Wow.
You know,
Oh man, that's not okay.
I don't
This
know.
this is a sketch of her art, by the way. This is her face.
Oh yeah.
She looks
Whoa,
like
I remember
fucking
that.
Ziggy Stardust, and I'm really into it.
Oh.
Yes. No, she's pretty hot. All right. Are we taking her with us?
Yeah.
Guys,
While they're up there, Crown is gonna get up and like take out a dagger and carve a 4-pointed crown into the door of the watchtower.
Cool.
Like underscore it.
Nice.
is that your logo?
Zorro.
Yeah. That was easy.
Okay. So once we're back down, I'm gonna kind of heft what's her fucking name? Valorith onto my shoulders, kind of like a fireman's carry,
Yep, you can do that.
and start making my way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's free.
Yeah. Let's see if
Um,
I can find Dinmar.
Yeah, you look around, you find Dinmar. He's got a big old black eye, but he seems all right otherwise.
Are people still beating each other up?
No, the fight is kind of petered out at this
Okay.
point. You hear some sounds of chaos down in the mines.
Uh-oh.
It's like the fight has kind of continued down there where more guards and prisoners are. And Dinmar leans against the wall, and Sarah shows up and he raises an arm. Hey! I saw what happened over there. I took a little peek. You beat up the warden.
Yeah. My nose is still all
Right
fucked
there.
up.
Yeah. Hey, your face is a little messy. Do you need
It's a good
healing?
look. Don't mess with her look.
I mean, it's the look is blood down your whole face.
Good for the brand.
It's.
Isn't it?
I mean,
Are you a cleric?
I wish I was. My father was.
so is mine.
It's an interesting
Great.
thing to
Bond
have in
over
common.
that. I'm going to
Well-
unlock the gate.
Well,
Wait,
I
I
have the
need-
keys.
Oh.
And also, we could use some healing. Like, I specifically.
Well,
Uh-huh.
yes, I can heal all of us first.
Okay.
I had a request to make of you though.
Sure.
Can I trust you to unlock all of the prisoners? I
Oh.
have the keys.
I'm actually keen to get out of here as soon as possible, but there are people who are willing to do that. I'll take the keys from you if you like.
Well, second question.
Yeah.
Do you know where we could find a cart?
A cart?
Yes.
Yes, there's a house just outside the walls, a stable.
Cool. Did you? Did you have something you wanted to say to me?
No, I just don't think you should give us the keys.
Well, I want to get everyone out of this.
Oh, we should open the front door
Yeah,
first.
open the door first.
Where? No, there's 2 sets of keys. There's the
Oh.
prison keys and the front door keys.
Oh.
I was gonna give him the prison keys.
Okay.
Because you got the keys from Kibar Kargaroth
Yeah.
Right,
last
okay.
game.
When I stepped on him.
Sexy.
Yeah. So yeah, I will toss Denmar the keys. Find someone who's willing to get everyone out of here.
Thank you.
We might as well cause a little bit of chaos. It will distract from our escape.
Hey, where are you headed after this?
It is something I will discuss with my compatriots.
All right.
Oh, Magpie's got something lined up. I'm just gonna
Well-
go with her.
We should stay together.
Well, she's heading towards the Ruby Eyrie.
I do not think we should go there. That is where Rannoch is going, and he is
Well,
trying to sell us.
I want to see who he's trying to sell us to, and then I want to go
I think we should avoid him at all costs.
neutralize whoever was trying to buy us, so we won't have any more trouble in this world.
I heard him.
Coin.
I heard him talking right before he flew off. Rylock's the demon guy, right?
Yeah.
I heard him talking while we were getting free. He said that he had a buyer in a place called Kailumbra. I'm not big on geography, but that's north of here. That's
Opposite direction from.
I mean that's the kingdom of the demons.
Yeah, I don't think we should go there.
Or sorry, strike that. That's the kingdom of the devils.
I don't
Okay,
think we
yeah,
should
no,
go
you're
there.
right. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I want to go to Valashi. I want to find the Temple of
Why?
Nergal. I want answers.
You're a cleric of Nergal?
Yes.
My father was a cleric of Jothar down well they say the god's body rests in a place called the Crater of Oblivion down south.
Jothar, you say?
Mm-hmm.
What are they the god of?
You recognize the name of Jothar.
do?
Yeah, he's the sixth god that we don't have anyone in the party that relates
Okay,
to.
I was like, who?
It's spelled
Oh,
Dzothar.
that's why.
Mhm.
I was pronouncing it differently in my head.
Yeah.
How do we spell that again?
Dzothar. Jothar.
Jothar, okay.
It's in the same Bible.
I read the Nergal.
I read it.
Down in where did you say?
Down south. It's kind of by the Sea of Fire.
Yeah, but where he was saying that Jothar's body rests?
It's a place called the Crater of Oblivion. It's an old underground city that had the top blown off it when something invaded.
Love Jothar's been with me through many, many good fights, but I don't give a running shit about where any of these gods' bodies are.
You.
All right.
You know what?
Why are you so crude? It is important to me to find out what happened to Nergal in this world.
Cool. You do that. I don't care.
Don't
Are you
wanna stick
so
together?
eager to get rid of us, the only people you know?
Don't you want to help us? We have to find all the others.
Do
We're
you
not your
ever want to
sister.
see your sister again?
I accept that I might not. You know what?
You're not even willing to try.
She's your family.
She's in a different world. We are dumped somewhere where we have no resources, no defense, and I am eager to survive for as long as possible here.
And you want to
That's
do
my
that without
first-
us.
I don't want to do it without you. I want to do it, and if you want to be along for the ride, you can. Magpie?
Why are you so against going to Valashi?
I'm not against it. I just don't care about your dead god.
I smack you right in the face.
Whoa!
Fuck me. So you're not lying.
Yeah, I duck.
Okay.
Mark?
This has gotten a little hot for me.
Yeah, I think they're okay. Can you read this?
Oh.
I'm gonna hand him the letter.
He takes it and he raises his brow. You got this from the warden?
Yeah, but we don't know what it says.
Yeah, it's a letter to Lady Carnelian.
Oh.
What's that say? Don't punch me again. You're gonna regret that if you try that shit again. What's
I
it
do it
say?
again.
Oh my
I got
god.
a natural or non-natural 20.
Okay.
Boo. Okay.
Bitch.
So you take.
3 bludgeoning.
Yep.
Ugh.
You do not say anything about Nergal ever again, you worthless piece of...
No, go on, finish it. Nothing I haven't heard before. You got anything original?
You have no faith in anything but your own selflessness. Fuck, that's not what I meant to say. I can't say
Let's
words.
take that line again.
One more again.
One more. Want to hear it
You have
articulate.
nothing that you care about but your own fucking selfishness.
Yeah? Nobody ever prayed for me.
There's a reason for that.
Oh
Crowna's such a
boy.
dick.
This
Again, nothing I haven't heard before.
this letter says that they found the tiefling with the broken horns, the boy with the wide eyes, and
Come on.
He's just a little boy.
and the orc with red hair.
Yeah, right?
The warden wrote this to Lady Carnelian, requesting that they call. I'm sorry, I don't dare speak his name.
Oh, it's one of those.
Do you maybe...
Can you write it down on your... No, we
No,
can't read it.
Maybe need to know.
Mm-mm. No,
Is it a god?
no,
You
it's.
describe his appearance so that I can sock his face in when I see him.
I've never seen him before. I've only heard stories about him.
Is he one
pretty
who wants to
impressive.
buy us?
I can only assume that he is.
Okay, then you need to tell us right now who it is.
If I say his name, odds are he will come right here and kill me and take you.
Yeah, fine, let him come here. Fucking square up.
No.
Take your own danger into your own life, Crowna. Do
Okay,
not count for
fine.
us.
His name is Sedge, and your devil parent appears in a cloud of caustic smoke before you, Crowna, and he looks you dead in the eye and says, "Long time no see."
I swing sudden death at him.
And that's where we're going to end today's episode.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Woo! Oh,
Wow.
What the fuck? Oh man.
that's where we're ending for today. We're gonna go right into a talk back so Kat can say what the fuck at me a little bit more. All right, see you around.
Man.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?